We are in the grim apocalyptic future of the year 817. The city of Arnhem lies destroyed behind you. The city of Sidiere lies destroyed, kind of maybe like 20 feet behind you, but not thanks to your direct doing. You have all kind of loosely agreed, for reasons, of your own, to escort Telemon the Red, wizard of time and space and kind of dubious magic, to find an artifact that will get him back in time so he can undo this great mess. Where the gods walk the land, death rules the kingdom. In your current party, you have a supernatural hunter by the name of Tolston Graves. His family has a mansion here run down outside of the city of Sidiere. And he tells you that something that you will need to recharge the artifact apparently lies in the fortress that his family once used in the mountains to the northeast of town. Several of you have been kicking back in the one kind of ruined inn in town. God help me, I can't even really remember the name, but it probably doesn't matter because it was already decrepit. No, it was the something goblin. But
I can't remember.
The cheerful goblin, something like that.
I was never there, so I didn't write the name down.
Yeah, but you guys have started a fairly large brawl, and given the decrepit nature of the architecture, it might not even survive that. And Telemon was being led by Tolston to the Graves Manor to meet with his sister Anna to discuss going to the Highlands and in retrieving this artifact. So we'll begin. I will once again remind everyone before we begin, because I feel we have to do this. One person in episode 1 was very, 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 very vocal about, I don't like the music.
Really?
That person is no longer with us.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
guess who.
Okay.
Everybody can adjust their master music volume in the settings tab in the cogwheel on the far top right. So.
Yep, that cogwheel is very, very helpful. You can change your music to whatever you like it to be.
You can also add.
backgrounds.
Yeah, you can also add sirens and like the sounds of SimCity in the background if you're Victor.
Does sound like SimCity. Does.
Yeah.
Especially my cities, they're always like that.
All right, so you stand outside of this darkened, partially ruined manor.
God, old Tristan were doomed.
Yeah. And Tolston gives you a look. He kind of grimaces a little bit and he says, it's been a while since I've been back. Look, just try not to say anything that might piss her off. Or about her hair. Or about her shoes. I'd say it would be better to let me do the talking, and he's saying this as you guys are walking up to the front door. But, generally when we talk, she tends to shoot me, so I'm not really sure how you want to approach this.
Sounds wonderful.
Alright, well, look, we just want to get her blessing to get some supplies, move through the town, and head up towards the fortress. It's not like she's gonna care. No one's used it in decades. And for all it's going to matter to her, she's probably not going to see us again. So yeah, he leads you up to the front doors. It's a pair of double doors, and standing on the outside is another one of the hunters, clad in the same sort of hooded, armored garments that you've seen everybody else wearing. Once again, kind of carrying a fairly heavily reinforced crossbow with what looks like some sort of bayonet on the bottom. These guys look like they're pretty businesslike. He just kind of stares at Tolston for a second, and then like raps on the door with his knuckles, and you can hear like a clinking from behind and a bar being removed, and the door opens up, and you guys step inside.
This is a manor house, you said? Like a standard 2-story type manor?
It's somewhere. Yeah, it's definitely like it's somewhere between a manor and a mansion. It's not like a huge place, but it's definitely on the ritzy side for medieval times. And it's definitely seen much better days. It looks like a lot of the windows on the first floor have been boarded up and reinforced. Like it's been turned into, something of a headquarters. You walk through the bottom floor, and you can see there's a fairly heavy amount of dust in here, but it's not because people don't live here, but it's just mainly because nobody cleans the place. You can see that as you walk by, like, dust clouds sort of get disturbed and kind of float through. I guess there's probably a dining room off to your right. You can see I think probably a young woman with short red hair seated at a table nearby somebody, and they both kind of cast glares towards Tolston. And there's another person lounging on a very kind of old, decrepit couch. On the far end of the hall, there is a set of stairs kind of curving upward to the second floor. And he says, home, ever so inviting. So tell me, Telamon, where do you hail from?
Originally? Did we ever decide where my original home was? I think we did, didn't we?
I think
Yeah,
you talked
on the
about...
East Coast.
Yeah, I think you talked
On the
about
coast
being...
somewhere.
like spending a lot of your childhood in Tivenar, but I don't know that you said you were actually from there or not. That was really kind of up to you.
Yeah, I wasn't from Timbenar, but I don't think I really had a place name in mind. It was on the coast somewhere.
Did you ever have anything like vaguely in mind?
I don't know. It would have been a small fishing village somewhere. I don't know if it'd be named on the map.
Okay.
Even.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, you could just tell them that.
I was originally from a small fishing village on the west of Arkval. I spent most of my childhood in Tivenar, though.
Oh. Land of the Elves. Would want to be there these days.
I wouldn't know
Elves
what it's
have-
like these days.
Elves have some fairly vengeful gods. You know how high-strung the elves are. When you decide to just forget your gods and not worship them for a couple millennia, they get a little pissy.
I can imagine.
So yeah, you guys make your way up to the second floor, and a door creaks open, and inside a room at the end, you can see a woman standing, kind of looking outside of a window, her back to you. She's got short, like very, very dark brown hair, almost black, and there is a man walking outside of the room. Tolston, well, boy, it's been a long time. And Tolston kind of like nods to him, but this is like the first time that Tolston, like, I guess you're looking over at him, actually has had some animosity towards someone, and it's kind of hard to understand why. This guy is like actually one of the only people here who's not greeted him with a cold shoulder. Tolston looks at him. And he says, "Perhaps not long enough for some people. She fit to take visitors?" I think the guy looks you up and down, Telemon. "Well, who's this?"
I am Telemon Daris, sir. Some call me Telemon the Red.
Guy raises an eyebrow. "Well, I've never heard of you. Is this some sort of mage, Tolston?" Tolston just nods. "Look, we've got business with Anna. Just let us through." The guy like gives a long look towards him, the kind of amusement on his face fading, and then steps aside and lets you guys through the room. So you guys enter this room, and at the far side, the woman is still kind of staring out of the window. You can see that there is like a rack of swords on the wall, like a lot of swords. Some of them look pretty old. There's also like a rack of crossbows on the wall, which is very odd. And there's just like there seems to be an inordinate amount of weapons for something that is very obviously not an armory. There's various pieces of armor, look to be in ceremonial positions, like hanging over the walls. It's obviously some sort of study, but there's actually like a low amount of books here. There's like some, like I think there's some maps laid out across a desk. There's also some trophies on the walls, but from creatures that you cannot tell what. Like, there's some sort of tusked creature. It's like maybe the size of a wolf, but it's got 4 tusks, and it's like 2 of them coming up from below and 2 of them coming down from above. Very weird creature.
Like a saber-tooth wolf?
Yeah, but it's like it's got like two horns almost that are almost mirrored to the tusks that are like coming down from atop its head. It doesn't have any hide or anything. It's basically just the skull, so you can't really make out a whole lot of detail. She doesn't turn to you, but she says, "Brother, I thought I told you if you came back, I'd have to shoot you in the other leg." There's like an uncomfortable pause, and he clears his throat. "Well, you'll be pleased to note that that's happened several times already, so don't feel obligated. I have the scars to prove it. Believe it or not, I'm not here to cause trouble." She kind of, like, I think there's like a half chuckle at that. Well, that'll be for once. "Look, I've got something important. I know you won't believe it. You dismissed all grandfather stories." At that, like, you can see her shoulders kind of do, like, maybe stiffen a little bit, like she obviously recognizes something that he's referencing. "I'm not going to ask you to believe or to do anything. Just need some supplies, and need you to let me and some associates through the lands where we need to head up north." It's like kind of a long pause. She turns around. You can see that she's very attractive. She's got like fine features, but she has a very prominent scar, like a hook-shaped scar, kind of going across her right cheek, like running from her upper cheek down to like her jaw. She's got another scar like on her left forehead, and she looks to her brother for like several moments. Then she kind of looks to you and she says, "Who is this? What trouble have you brought home?" He pauses for a moment and he says, "Believe it or not, this is Telemon. Telemon the Red." She like kind of raises an eyebrow and looks over.
Indeed, milady. It is cool. It is true.
She just like looks back to her brother for a second or two, like she's obviously not really believing. Like she thinks he's probably playing some sort of joke on him.
Do I know this keep doesn't have a name that I know of, does it? It's just like
No. I guess the only thing mentioned in the Sarcasmos hologram was it was just referred to as the Hunter's Keep.
I have come from a very long way away. One could say from a different time, as it were. But in this day and age, I currently seek what was once known as the Hunter's Keep, I believe, for an object kept within, on an adventure to save the realm, as it were.
She just like laughs and kind of snorts.
And I get
Save
that
the
reaction a
realm.
lot recently.
A foolish notion. The realm has been lost for decades, over a century.
May that be,
Only-
but can we help but
only-
try?
Fools and idiots, those convinced of their own power, think that they can save the world, much less the realm. Brother, what foolishness is this? Who is this that you travel with? What are you really doing? He just like shakes his head and he says, "Look, Anna, I told you I didn't need you to believe me. I just need some supplies. You to send us on our way. Don't need anything else." She like kind of casts a long look at you. You mean me to believe that this is the wizard that our grandfather told us about, the one that his grandfather told him about? You know such a thing can't be possible.
I would
Even-
have said that
even for a
myself
wizard.
few days ago. I knew Memnon Graves. It was Memnon Graves, right? Correct?
Memem.
Okay, it's Memon. I knew Memon Graves for but a few days, and to me it was only a few days ago that last I saw him. But he was a very intelligent sort, very, very cunning in his ways with the art, as I assume you call it, the hunter's trade. We fought some beholders in the spire of Vidoriath last I saw. He was quite capable against them.
She gives you kind of like a distasteful look and turns around back towards the window and is silent for a few moments. And she kind of speaks up. "Tolston, do you really mean to head to the fortress?" And he nods, although she obviously can't see it. Then he realizes that and he says, "We do. You know that no one's made the journey since Father's time, and he didn't stay long, and he didn't find what he was looking for. Nevertheless, I'm going, with or without your help." She sighs a long sigh, and there's like another really long moment, and then she like kind of raises a hand. She says, "Very well. You can have what supplies you need. Just don't get yourself killed out there. If you do, I don't want to have to deal with the consequences." Look, well, I'd been meaning to speak to you when you came back. I know we didn't leave things on the best of terms, but is there any way I can persuade you not to do this? And he shakes his head when she turns around, and he's already kind of like starting to turn to motion you towards the door. And she says, "Well, good luck then. You'll probably need more than that, though." So with that, we switch back to the cheerful goblin, which I think
The rowdy
I
goblin
think-
may be more accurate at this point, I think.
it might be like the sucker punched goblin, as several figures kind of stumble outside. The sound of breaking glass behind them. Fergus, Herudeshret, Sital, and Power Cord all kind of stumble out. I think Herudeshret's kind of like got his arm underneath Power Cord's own. This is like helping the stumbling green mountain out of the door. Like a mug flies out of the door and like smashes against Power Cord's back, but like I don't think he even really notices it as it just like shatters and disintegrates. And you hear like some person, it's probably the bar owner, like "Don't come back, you damn green bastard!"
Aye,
like-
do you crash every bar you go into? Tavern, I guess it would be taken away, but
Not
Sounds like
all
you're-
of them, but just the ones that I like.
Haruz is gonna kind of look to you and says, "It sounds like you're not welcome there now." Or does he do this to you frequently?
I prefer not to visit one bar more than once. In a land of high adventure such as this, there's countless taverns to be visited and destroyed.
I think you say
Hey.
that, and a board falls off like the second floor of the inn and just like crashes down. And like you look around and you see the ruin of Sidiere and like this slowly falling apart inn, the only inn in town.
I think I'm gonna turn to Power Cord and say that we are not headed to an end, but perhaps you would be interested in destroying something that we can mutually agree should be destroyed for a change, my green friend.
Indeed. Glory of battle and the songs I will sing. Come, friends.
Be careful about singing them around everyone. I'm going to kind of glance back at what just happened a moment ago.
aye. So there is a time and a place for the use of warfare. A bar fight
this
is
is
not
not
really one
warfare.
of them.
This is just harmless fun.
Do you have any belongings in town that we need to pick up, Power Cord?
I have my supplies on my back and my axe in my hand.
Nod, that is fortunate. We have limited time. We are looking for our friend that should return shortly and with more information of where we need to go, and hopefully he will have a line on where I might find a blacksmith in this town. I'm gonna kind of itch the horrible rope straps that I've got on my armor right now that can't be too much fun to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Aye. You be need of rations, I believe, as well.
Rations and healing supplies. I believe that I used all of mine on myself and others.
So,
escape from Arnhin.
I
Do you guys
doubt
wanna
we will
look
find
for-
any healing supplies in this town, but
Do you want to try to look for that kind of stuff while you guys wait for Telemon
Probably.
and Tolston to get back?
I'm definitely gonna try to see if I can find somebody that might be able to fix my straps.
Okay, let me look.
I met some of these guards. They seem pretty well out.
You've got
maybe they can point me in the right direction.
plate mail.
I don't think it's plate mail. It's bronzed armor. It's not like
Steel or
plate.
something.
Didn't you? Isn't it 3 armor, 4 weight?
Yeah, I guess maybe we statted it like plate mail. Maybe I'm not sure what plate mail has for stats.
What is it listed as your
on
your sheet?
4 weight, 3 armor.
Yeah, that's plate mail. It's not like Knight's plate mail or anything. It's basically your Minotaur desert version, but it's certainly not scale mail by any means.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Repairing plate mail.
Did Telemon say he needed anything before he left? I don't
Seems
recall.
safe enough here. I would have gone with him if I had the same concerns I had back in Arnhem. I'm going to kind of look at everybody and say, I still am curious what's happened there. Exactly. I have been. It seems that I was somehow seeing a glimpse into the castle, and I've heard that you were really chatting with the Baron, waiting for your time to strike. I ask almost questioningly towards Fergus.
We were looking for your ass.
Were you waiting for me to begin your attack on that monster?
He kept order in the city. Not so much as it is now, Scout.
Or he's gonna cross his arms and say, "Don't tell me that Telemon was considering cooperating with that thing."
I do not pretend to know what goes through the wizard's head.
Rue pauses and says, "This is very grave indeed. I fear that our wizard friend has a lot of power, but perhaps not a lot of foresight." And I'm going to kind of turn to Settlezar and give him almost a silent nod and see if Power Cord is walking under his own power now, or if he's still stumbling horribly.
He's moving with the assistance of gravity and inertia and many of Newton's laws.
We should probably resupply.
What of gold? How much do we have? I do not have much to trade to these people left. I gave my gem away to secure the loyalty of our ship.
I have many coin in this pouch.
Haroon nods and says that I will repay my debts, Settlezar. Make sure to make note of them, but that will be helpful.
It will take 88 coins to repair your armor, Haru. But you can find someone who can, in just an hour or so, fix the straps on your armor.
Would Settlezar be able to front me 88 coins? I actually don't know how many mini coins are.
Sure, he'll give you a big handful coins, say roughly 150.
Ooh, nice. I will definitely thank him very much for that, and yeah, I'll definitely spend the 88 too. Fix my armor back up.
Is anybody else doing anything in terms of services or things?
Is there like a trading post type thing?
This is not a trading town. There is a place to buy things, but you do need to understand, like, nobody comes to Sidiere. Like, in a land where people, where it's ruled by death, this is like an out-of-the-way town for a reason.
I might ask someone if they have the local shaman.
They have
something along those lines.
I will say they have basic supplies, but this is certainly not a trading post.
I might seek out and see if someone knows of a local shaman or something that might have some poultices and herbs that they may be willing to trade us for our quest.
Yeah, so something that you can do when there is something that's not common is you can try to use the supply move. When you go to buy something with gold on hand, if it's something readily available in the settlement you're in, you can buy it at market price. If it's something special beyond what's usually available here or non-mundane, you can roll charisma. On a 10+, you find what you're looking for at a fair price. On a 7 to 9, you have to pay more or settle for something similar. So if it's something you're looking for, I will say that, like, literally what you can find here as you're kind of looking around is kind of rations. You can probably find bandages, some poultices and herbs, very, very basic weapons, um, you know, basic kind of winter clothing and stuff like that, and basic journeying supplies. This is stuff to basically just outfit the people who live in and around the area.
Two things then that probably wouldn't be on that list that I would be looking for is one, healing potions. Would they have that by chance? Or
They definitely don't, but you can try to roll supply.
I'm gonna try to roll supply though, and what I really want, they have some kind of bag that is fireproof of some way, like a dragon skin bag or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Again, you can't just supply things to find a magic item.
Yeah.
But this is not necessarily a magic item. So yeah, give me a roll plus cha, and maybe you'll find something. This is the ruins of a fairly good big city. But that was not a great roll.
No, it was not. Damn it.
You get fleeced.
Yes, I figured.
You buy a bag that that was supposedly fireproof. Please mark down. Actually, give me a roll of. Let me see here. First of all, roll a d6. Okay, that's a good roll. Now just roll a d100.
It's semi-fireproof.
Okay, you only spend 19 coins.
Oh, I thought that was a good deal for a bag that probably catches on fire at the tinge of a spark.
But you don't know that.
You could have spent up to 600 coins on that.
Yes.
Yeah, you thought it was a steal, and I think the guy quickly made his way away from you, and a few minutes later, it was cinders in your hand.
Oh, I was hoping it would like fall apart in the middle of the journey, but okay.
No,
I was waiting for your rations to go up in a blaze
if it was a couple hundred coins, it would have. But for 19 coins, this is the absolute most shit bag you've ever bought.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't roll too high then. That would have been really bad.
Alrighty. Then I guess I'll buy some mundane items like rations and do they have adventuring gear?
Yeah, they've got adventuring gear and they've got rations.
What are the prices on this stuff?
Yeah, rations are what, like 5 or something?
Rations are 3 coins.
3, yeah.
For 5 uses, and they are 1 weight. Adventuring gear is 20 coins for 5 uses, and they are 1 weight. They do have bandages here. They do have some poultices and herbs, not an infinite supply.
How much are they?
Poultices and herbs are 2 uses, 10 coins, 1 weight.
I don't have any money, but I probably will need some food if we're gonna be out of town for more than like a day.
How many rations do you have? You have 5?
I have none.
You should have a start.
Should
You
have
didn't-
at least 5.
You didn't start with any? Let me look at your sheet.
You have dungeon rations, 5 uses, 1 weight. You should put
At
it
the
in
very
here for
top
some-
of starting gear and load.
Oh, I see.
right here in the highlighted area for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Haru is going to tell.
I will buy some rations for Telemon. That wizard, he always forgets rations. I'm sure one of us will need them, so I'll buy 10 rations of that.
I'm
Okay.
going to tell Settlestar that if he wants to carry extra rations, that I'll be willing to carry additional supplies for them if they need me to.
I'm also
should have
interested
extras.
in bandages and javelins if they have them. If not, that's cool.
You can find hunting spears. Not like, specific javelins. Like javelins are fairly high quality. These are you can throw them. They're not quite as good. Let me see if I can stat these for you.
Quick question: how much were bandages?
Bandages are 5 coins.
And how many uses are they? Just one?
3 uses, 0 weight.
Okay.
They
Let
heal
me figure out what we
4 per use. But they are slow, and you can only bandage somebody so many times.
Can I by chance get stats on that slightly garish sword that was a captain's sword? Is it 1 weight or 2 weight?
Let's see here. That's gonna be. I think that's probably close to a long sword, so it's gonna be close, +1 damage and 2 weight. It's not quite a long sword. I think it's probably probably a boarding sword.
Quick question: what would it cost to recharge 1 charge of my adventuring gear?
I would
Adventuring
suspect
gear.
it's 1/5 of the price.
Yeah. So
And I'll
Adventuring
buy
gear
some
is normally
bandages for
20
Telemon as
coins.
well.
yeah, so 4 coins. In terms
you
of your throwing spears, if you want them, the hunting spears, they are reach, thrown near, 1 weight, and they are 5 coins. They're not the highest quality. I mean, they're basically just for the people who are hunting out here in the woods.
Throne
Reach,
near
thrown near, and 1 weight.
and 1 weight each. By 2.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just basic hunting spears. They
Also,
can be thrown, but you can also just use them as a spear.
Well, what I think we had, there were 6,500 gold total. We spent 3,000 on the crew, so there should have been 3,500 left.
If you want to keep track of that, in the player notes loot section, you certainly can.
Wait. What was your thing? I had it as 2,000 that was left.
I have, whereas the notes for what we paid the ship was minus 3,000 gold.
Yeah, I think there was some dropped at one point too.
That might have been. I think
It
that
like
was
500
that
or
was-
something.
That was Fergus's, right?
Yeah, that was Fergus's.
That was separate.
Can we find some sort of pack fuel?
Oh, and
here,
I
perhaps?
gave money to what's his face, Langdon.
That was included in
Landon.
Oh, okay.
What was your question, Haru?
Who wants to see if there's anyone that might sell beasts of burden around here? So,
You could possibly get some, but they're also there's not really a market here, so you might have to spend a little bit more than normal because this is kind of like people's livelihood. What are you looking
understandable.
for?
Something to help carry some additional food for us, since we don't know how long this trip might be. Perhaps some additional healing supplies.
What sort of beast?
A pack mule type thing would probably be fine, depending on
Yeah.
what would be suitable to our terrain.
You can find one. You know it's a rough deal, but you also know that this guy's not looking to sell. But you can find one for 50 coins, and it's got a load of. I'm gonna say a load of 15.
I think I'll definitely come over to Settlazar and run this by him and see if he's thinking this might be useful for the group, since I am
Actually,
short on the coin.
Actually, load of 12.
Is it a metal cart?
No cart.
It is a
Oh.
pack mule. It is a creature.
So,
Okay.
so big green orc. Power cord, is it? Do you said you had no coin? Do you have need of anything while we are in town?
I've got some food, I got my music, and I got my bad attitude. That's all I need.
You have need of bandages? You probably will have need of them. Also, you have a weapon?
I do, and I'm going to kind of
Gimme-
grab
gimme-
the
okay.
hold of my loot with both hands and just sort of swing it around.
I could give you one of these hunting spears if you need one.
Bah, sharp
No?
objects are for weaklings. If you can't beat someone to death with a blunt object, you don't deserve to fight.
I think somebody's walking by when you say that, and they just kind of give you a look and walk a little bit quicker.
How many of those poultices and herbs did they have, by the way? I don't think anybody purchased them.
Um,
Or bandages.
bandages. You can.
I got some.
How many did you buy? Because they didn't
just
have very
one.
many. That's what I was asking about.
How many did you buy?
Just one.
One
Okay.
use, that's 3.
No, one set, which has got 3 uses. Yeah.
How many did they have, Star?
They probably had 6 total.
Wanna get some more?
And they were X gold?
5, I believe.
That's what the bandages were.
You were asking about bandages.
Poultice and herbs.
I think they're 10. I have them marked down this.
Poultices and herbs are 10, and they probably have 4 of those.
I bought 3
I
uses
bought
of bandages.
I bought 2 poultices and herbs.
Each
I'm not sure
poultice
what else
is
was.
2 uses. We probably want to buy them all if we can, but I'm not there.
Yeah, we're definitely. I'm gonna buy the
I'm
rest
trying
right
to
now. I'm just
determine
trying to
how
get this
many
under the
were
sheet.
purchased.
One has been purchased which had 2 uses, so there are 3 left.
Don't track uses, guys. We're not tracking uses.
Track the item.
Yeah. That'll make things way confusing.
I'm actually putting down a sheet right now. Hold on.
I think about this time, Telemon, you are wandering back into town with Tolston. You have a slip of paper to show to one of the guys in the town who it's apparently good for some supplies for your ship. Anna just told you that you give it to him, and he will set you up with some supplies for the ship.
Ah, good.
By the way, I set up a whoops. I set up a little section on the miscellaneous notes for the pack mule. Anything you'll note on there? I'm not sure if we have those noted anywhere else.
Okay. That's a good way to track it.
I might load a lot of stuff up into that since you probably don't want a lot of the stuff that I bought to burn.
How many herbs did you buy, out of curiosity?
I didn't
Did
buy any
everybody-
herbs. I only bought bandages.
Are there still 2 for sale then? Has anybody bought them?
Believe so.
There are 4, I think was said.
Yeah, I
Okay.
bought 2 already, so
Okay,
I'm
then
thinking I'll
there are
probably buy
2.
the remaining 2.
Foster, did you buy any?
I was gonna buy any. That's what I was asking about. But if you're gonna buy them, you've already bought them.
The 2 have been bought. There are 2 left.
Just somebody buy them and
I bought
quit,
them.
Well,
quit moping over them.
Technically, the funds are all coming out of the same pot right now, I think.
No, the ones I bought came out of my pot. But
Oh, well.
that's what I was asking. Anyway, sorry. Back to. Come on.
Does anybody have anything else?
I would like to buy something in the range of probably like at least 6 dungeon rations just to put into the bag of holding.
I purchased you dungeon rations, Cloud.
Yes, but I would rather have more in the bag of holding if we need.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, 6 dungeon rations. It's 120 coins. No, that's adventuring gear. 6 dungeon rations is not much at all.
Yeah.
Those are 3 coins each. So yeah, you can buy that. That will probably clear out what they have in stock right now in terms of like ready to go rations. But yeah, you can certainly do that and just chuck it in the bag of holding.
I shall note that down as 30 uses. Because weight doesn't matter in the bag.
Yeah, you might want to have like a small section in your inventory like separated where you're keeping track of things in the bag.
I have it as like a little sub note now. If you hover over, you can see what's in it.
Okay, that works.
Okay, I've loaded the pack mule with 2 poultices and herbs and 2 bandages. Is anybody else going to load anything else onto it? Because that was
Yep,
the end of
I
my
will.
money.
I'll be transferring over some stuff here. I'll be moving 4 things.
Cool.
I think
Should
Tell
just
would
be able to edit it and put it right in there. It should be easy to pop.
also, said it was 18 coins for that, Star?
Yes.
Okay, I can actually afford that. Whereas right now I have 39 coin and then a diamond that's worth 400, but that's gonna be probably hard to just liquidate.
Yes.
Ah, Hiru, Fergus, Zatal. Oh, and who would you be, you large orcish man?
I'll step forward and say, Power Cord, this is Telemon, the one that I was telling you about that has, that we are following to his destiny. Hers is serious as always, even though he's looking at Power Cord for a second with a odd look. Then he kind of motions you over and tries to introduce the two of you.
Ah, Telemon, the powerful conjurer of flame and ice. And I'm going to, kind of do a little chord on my lute as I say that.
Ah, the bard, are you?
It sounds a little off tune. You look at it, his lute is made of steel. It looks like it's bashed many a head in due to the denting and the blood stains. You're not sure if it's just out of tune or if it has to do with the fact that it's probably cracked several people's heads open. But yeah.
Ah. I see you're not unfamiliar with combat.
Some call me a bard. I prefer warrior poet.
Indeed. Will you be accompanying us for the short term?
He crashed the tavern. I shove a package of stuff into Telemon's arms. I got you some rations and some bandages.
Ah, good. I've already had some bandages, but we can always have more.
Could never have too many medical supplies when following you, Telemon.
It's 10 uses of rations. Just saying, but
Oh, it's 10.
yeah,
we
2
can,
packs.
We can put 5 on the cart, just to have some on the cart, and I'll just carry one of them. And 1 use of
You
bandage.
wizarding types always forget to bring rations into the dungeon, Iglins.
Oh, I'm not sure I would say that. We had plenty for the last dungeon I went to. They didn't help me a whole lot, but yeah.
Yeah, until you blew up.
Yeah. So, we have received permission from Miss Anne Graves, I believe, at the manor to undertake our journey. We also have this little slip here to get supplies for the airship. I have to see one Thaddeus, I believe. I'm just making up a name. You can make one up if you want, Star, in the market.
Yep.
Get that. I'll be back as soon as I accomplish that. It shouldn't take too long. And I proceed off to wherever that was. That's supposed to go for this.
Yep.
And there he goes.
So yeah, you make your way over to the designated guy. He's basically literally just one of the farmers. And hand him the note. He seems a little bit gruff. When he sees it's literally from the leader of House Graves, he's a little surprised. He's not exactly pleased, but like he's suddenly a lot more amenable. And he says that he'll get the supplies from his homestead and delivered to your airship of all things. Like he's literally looking at it from like across the broken roofs. Like you can still see the kind of the silhouette of the airship. He'll have it loaded up by like the end of tomorrow.
Ah, thank you, sir. Good day.
So yeah, your supplies there. I think you guys probably like if this was just rations and stuff, that would have been something you could have taken care of easily. I think you probably stayed for a few moments at Graves Manor to talk about your need of raw metals and stuff that could be workable. And I think part of the supplies includes at least enough materials that you can get the ship probably repaired. It's just going to take several weeks because you don't have a dry dock or
We'll have to
anything.
prepare
But
in route, as it were.
yeah, and you've only got one person capable of doing it too, so it's going to take weeks. But you now ostensibly have like the repair materials that she requested,
Ah, good.
as well as supplies. And with that, I think like do you guys meet like kind of on the outer edge of town?
Yep, I think so. I'll be back in just a moment. I have to use the bathroom, but I'll be back. You can keep going if you want.
Yep, I'll definitely be heading to the outside of town and be telling Power Cord that I hope that he's okay with running afoul of more than a few of the gods. We certainly have had our share of problems with them recently.
Indeed. If you could kill a god, that would make an excellent story.
Oh, if only Krios were here.
But he's not. So.
Killed a god with a knife.
And then use the knife.
That was pretty awesome.
You lost the knife in a werewolf, though.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
up
true.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, power cord. Where do ye hail from?
Oh, here and there. I call no place home.
I think many places are thankful for that.
Then we have something in common, as I no longer have a home either.
Home is
I think
overrated.
everybody looks at Satal, and I know Fergus is like thinking in his mind like, what did you burn it down?
Did you burn it down? But
Yeah.
don't say that, but
I think Haru's thinking that as well.
I'm back.
I think he might ask you what.
did you
what,
mark
what
down your
happened,
extra
Satal?
stuff on your sheet or in the mule cub?
I did.
I was exiled
Well.
by my peoples.
What, for burning things down? I think Tolston says, like with a hint of a snicker.
No, that would have been preferred, and I would have been honored. Instead, I was shamed.
But this is not your home, Satal. People usually don't like it when you burn stuff down here.
You must
I
be careful.
will
with the
try
blade,
to
my
keep that
friend.
in mind. But it reminds me so much of home.
Especially when it's on fire.
I'm going to play a little riff from Through the Fire and Flames on my lute.
Oh god, we've got Dragon Force now in the campaign. Okay, yeah,
What?
that'll happen.
He makes much noise,
I didn't mark one. I just saw one there.
but I like it.
So you're all at the northeastern edge of town. Graves Manor is off in the distance, and I think you're all kind of getting prepared. Haru's got his ass loaded up, so to speak, and everybody's kind of tucking the straps on their backpacks, getting everything cinched and ready to go, and far to the east northeast you can see the Natar mountain range. It's not one of the biggest mountain ranges in Arkval, but there's typically not a whole lot of reason to go there, and yeah, somewhere there lies your destination. So Tolston, as you guys start making your way, northeast out of town, starts describing that the way to the fort is perilous at best. You guys can probably journey. Let me get the grid up so we can see how long this is going to take.
Tolston, how far is it to your family mansion? Or to this place?
Sarcasmus could not answer me that question. Something I would like to know as well, though it seems that he may have hidden it magically, so I would understand if you do not know.
He says, well, we can likely spend the first day or so on the old trail to the northeast. Used to be a trading road. It's really the only safe way in and out of town on foot these days. After that, though, we'll have to start making our way into the woods, and then up into the mountains.
Aye, always into the muck and the mire.
Unfortunately, it's impossible to say just how far it is. There is some sort of magic cast over the place. It's not just over the fortress itself. We have to approach at a certain time, and it's different every time you go.
Or
Well, it
you will know.
changes. I've only been once before with my father, and we didn't make it all the way. I'll say this: there are many ways to the fortress, and they all are ever changing. Whatever magic was cast over the place was very, very powerful and very strange.
Aye, well, the road be long and me legs be short. We best be going.
That is true.
Indeed, my friend.
Sarcasmus has never been known for straightforward magic, in my experience.
Well, if you know this one, he just shakes his head. Our real journey will begin at the Moon Gate, but until then, we have quite a walk.
And Fergus said, "There's moon that cracks open picture question mark."
You say it is a moon gate, so I assume we have to arrive at night for this particular journey? For that particular step?
He nods. If we pass through at any other time, either nothing happens, or things you don't want to happen.
Very well. The road's not getting any shorter, as it were.
All right, let's get a roll here. We are undertaking a perilous journey.
Oh my
God! Yep,
Who would done one of those?
Yep. Who would like to act as a trailblazer? Who would like to act as a scout? And who would like to act as a quartermaster? The quartermaster reduces the number of rations if they are successful. The trailblazer reduces the amount of time if they are successful. And the scout is the one who keeps an eye on trouble. And if they are successful, if you guys actually have trouble, you can actually get the drop on it.
Haru will volunteer to scout.
Yep,
okay.
The point where we all compare wisdom scores.
Yep, all of these are wisdom rolls. So we've got Haru.
Tell you have that bird thing, all right? Because it helps scout.
I believe so.
Maybe.
I think Haru's already up front looking to scout. Are you gonna try to gonna try to explain to Haru that maybe he's not the best suited for the task.
Uh, what would I get?
Like
out
he
of
looks,
that?
he looks ever vigilant. Like he's got like a hand over his brow, very Indian chief style, and he is literally like out there, brow furrowed, staring like across the fields and up into the forest, like looking for any enemy at all. And he looks very serious about his task.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll keep an eye on the vittles.
Okay, I think we've got our quartermaster here. All right, that is at least settled. Quartermaster.
Power cord, do you have any special woodsy skills? What I'm asking is your wisdom score any good?
I'm going.
You
I'm
also
going
kind of have to
be-
justify it.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
kind of playing on my lute over by just in the background, and then I'm going to look up and say, "What?"
It should be noted that now that you guys have a couple extra people, it is possible that one of you could aid somebody in one of these roles.
That is true. Someone want to offer their assistance?
Yeah.
We've never had this many people during an undertake a perilous journey before.
This is true.
That's true. Yeah.
I would be
Aiding
willing...
aiding a person requires you to roll plus your bonds with them. That was something I didn't really check. Did we get anywhere on filling out? Yeah, you got a couple bonds there, Power Cord, and we'll see
Yeah.
how your bonds fill out as we go.
I think I'm going to follow Herod Eshred.
Okay, so you're going to try to aid him in potentially whatever he does. So we got Quartermaster. Who is Scout and who is
Scout's Haru.
Trailblazer? Okay, all right. So Haru.
I would assume it probably doesn't technically work that way, but Trailblazer would almost have to be Holston, right? Because he knows where we're going.
I'll be right back, please. Somebody is banging very loudly on my door.
Oh my!
I was gonna
Okay.
say Satal could be a literal trailblazer,
Oh god!
but
See, I don't know if I can actually do Trailblazer because it's weird. Because Scout is normally like my like I would think I could do Scout, but my bird, the Jade Falcon, it adds to discern realities, not necessarily to Scout. So I don't know what the role for that would be. If it's Wisdom, I'm not any better than Hero. If I can use Intelligence, it's way better.
Hey Foster, where did you find that formula for the roll for the other game's roll macro? I was gonna make one for this game so I could actually just put in a dice and then label like what it's for right in the roll.
Oh, you can
I
do
really
that
like
easy.
that.
It's just that you just type what you would type into the chat. Just type it into the macro and it'll do it. It's not a fancy macro for this.
Like,
There-
what do you have to do to label it?
here's the generic Roll20 wiki on macros.
Oh, if you want that, it's just put a question mark and then like the weird curvy bracket that's above the square bracket. Put what you want the description to ask in that bracket right after the question mark, and then that goes where your number of dice would go. So it'll look like /roll question mark curly bracket what you want to ask close curly bracket D20 or not D20 but well no that's wrong.
Yeah, I was trying to
You would have to
basically
do
set it up so I could
/roll
put, like, actually in
2d6
the dice.
plus question mark.
Well, there, Victor. I just linked you the generic wiki on Roll20 macros.
Oh, thanks, man.
It just has examples. Like the first one gives a basic example of how to make it just a standard normal roll, which is about all you need for this.
But yeah,
I am back.
/roll 2d6 plus question mark should just get you the generic like ask a question thing. If you want to
That's
ask
cool.
the number, but it's almost easier just to write it in. Or I just made one button for each stat. 'cause that's all
Yeah.
I can
Anyway.
roll.
That's what I would recommend. I unfortunately don't get to do that as the GM, but you can literally just make a macro for each of your abilities, like plus cha or whatever.
Anyways, yes. Trailblazer.
You would not. He would not be making a roll for you. You would just be getting a +1 because he is, on the scene and he knows where to go.
Okay. It's rolling scout is literally plus wisdom, right? Or I guess it's not.
All of them are wisdom.
Can the Jade Falcon can't help me find the way? Can it?
This is not that sort of roll. This is a thing. All of you are undertaking a perilous journey. It's as it says.
Right. So it's wisdom.
Haru is currently scouting. It's what he wanted to do.
Out of who's
Unless
left,
you talk him out.
Satal is most qualified, but
Yeah, I guess I could.
Or
Yeah,
you
I'll
could
do
just
it.
be a lazy bum.
yeah,
and,
if
like,
you don't
sit
want
in
to,
the back.
then
Well-
but I get no modifier.
The reason why
Who
I'm-
would? Who would?
Is the
Stats
question
don't
is who
matter.
would?
Who would?
If Saul would not, then I will.
Yeah.
All right. So, is Telamon trailblazing?
Indeed.
All right. So Tel, you're getting a +1 because of the presence of Tolston. And Fergus is going to get an aid roll, or not Fergus. Hera is going to get an aid roll from Power Chord. Is Satal making any effort to aid anybody, or are you kind of sulking the entire time?
I'm probably sulking the entire time.
Makes sense. All right. Fergus, can you give me a wisdom roll, please?
Nice.
That's a success. Marking down an 11. I've learned to write these things down. Haru, let's see what the result for your aid is. Power Chord, do you have any bonds with Haru Deshret?
I have one.
All right. Can you please roll a 2d6 plus 1 for your aid?
Ooh.
This literally just slash roll 2d6 plus
Yeah,
1.
you got it. It's a 6. You got a 1 plus 4 plus 1.
You indeed.
By the way, mark XP, Power Chord.
Yep. So, on an aid roll, when you help or hinder someone you have a bond with, roll plus bond with them. On a 10 plus, they take +1 or -2. It's aid or interfere. You can actually interfere with people. Your choice. On a 7 to 9, you also expose yourself to danger, retribution, or cost. Haru, I'm going to give you a -1 on your roll.
Okay.
Because he failed. If it was a 7 and a 9, it wouldn't have been any difference. On a 6-, I of course get to decide what happens.
Oh,
and
yeah, absolutely.
I think his intentions are great, but he is obviously distracting you. And yep, so he doesn't. It's not full interference. That would be a -2. But yeah, you're getting a -1
Well,
here, scout roll, please.
It wouldn't make any difference anyway right now, but
Oh, I didn't even see that he.
it's 8 versus 9, so yeah.
I was talking about it, Foster, and I wasn't looking at the roll. This is why the GM makes these decisions and doesn't look at the rolls when he's making them. Yeah, so partial on the scout. Nothing gets the drop on you, but you don't get the drop on it. And Telamon, can I get a Trailblaze roll +1?
Indeed.
Good. Good thing you had Tolston.
Indeed.
Pretty good roll all around, really. Partial success on the scout, which is unfortunate, but everything else.
Where's your roll for the scout?
Higher up. Underneath Hero's test rolls.
Sorry, I didn't know those were going to publicly broadcast,
That-
and I hit test, by the way. I apologize.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Quartermastering it actually, but yeah.
I will be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to avoid very mundane rolls so I don't have to tempt myself into just turning it into a fail. It's like, oh, I'll aid you, and oh, I passed, so I'll just fail it to reload my thing.
And burn yet another card to the ground.
No, it's no for aiding. It doesn't really do anything for a 6-. So I mean, I'm trying to avoid gaming the system, so to speak.
Wow, Victor, what else do you have in there? What's the EM test part you're rolling in there for some reason? Oh, you're trying to figure out how to make the macro?
Well, the slash EM
Yeah,
is what
I'm
makes it emote like that. But
I was trying to create one that would be basically I could pick the dice, then pick the amount of dice, and then just label it like it does in the other game, so it like has a little colored label under it. I like that effect a lot, but I'm not able to figure out how the hell to do
Oh,
that.
you want the same thing as that other macro? Was this one?
Are you guys ready to move on?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize you were back, man. Welcome back.
Yeah, this is why the music started. So you guys have an uneventful journey along the road. No bandits, no wolves, nothing. The woods that you eventually turn off to the north are light and curiously absent of any distractions. You don't find any real signs of life or squirrels or any of the sort. It's this calm, peaceful sort of trek through very light woods. You eventually start making your way north. And in the distance you can see the low kind of hills that are kind of leading into the mountains. And there seems to be some sort of structure as like your eyes adjust to the distance. Very odd though. It doesn't, like, at first you don't really think it's anything, but it's there are flat lines to it, and you don't.
Just
you
one
don't-
thing in case it matters. I do have the current boon senses that pierce lies. I'm not sure
Yeah.
where we're going. that
Always
might
good to
factor
remind
in.
me, but it doesn't matter here. You make your way forward, and Tolston says, "All right, we're coming up upon the Moon Gate. Look, it's best we make camp here, perhaps. We must go in at night, when the moon is high, and it is between the bounds of the gates. And it will not be best to rest once we have passed its bounds. So we should take our rest here as we get the chance."
Brew turns to the others and says that I may need to go hunt for an offering for Deshret, so I will not be able to take the first shift, but I will return and be happy to take my place guarding the camp.
very well. I, for one, am willing to take first watch.
So are you guys willing to basically make camp during the day?
Sure.
Like, you guys, I think you guys are sufficiently tired enough by walking for like what amounts to a full day already. You guys have already camped on the way here once before, so you're pretty tired from walking the distance.
I'm definitely looking to see if I can go hunt some sort of local wildlife in the woods here, so I can make my offering to Deshret for the day before I return to camp.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, so what are you specifically looking for?
I will accept anything that under the moment what would be common in this woods, like if there's deer or elk, what would be a viable thing. If I'm lucky and manage to get 2, I'll bring 1 back to help make rations or help offset our rations. But
So, you're about to set out, and Tolston puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "Be very careful out there, my friend. These woods can be very dangerous. You will want to be cautious.
He nods and says that I will try to stay fairly close to the camp. You'll hear me if there's trouble, and I'll start heading into the woods for my hunting.
Roll a d10.
Oh boy, here we go. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm starting to think bad.
Oh god.
I'm sorry, but the GM maniacal laugh has to come out when you roll a 1 on the encounter table. Wow, that started early.
I thought maybe I'd get lucky. Oh, 1! You ran across a deer. Good luck.
That would have been a 10.
Oh boy.
Let me bring up
What
the specific table results, but I know what a 1 and a 10 is.
Oh god.
Is that what you wanted, Victor?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted actually, man.
It's in TeamSpeak, yeah.
Oh, appreciate it, man. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thanks.
Just for shits and giggles, can you give me another D10?
Yes, I can. Oh no, please don't tell me I'm eating 2 creatures. Holy crap.
Wow. Give me a second. I think I have a picture for this somewhere in my archive.
Oh god. Oh, Power Cord. It was nice knowing you.
It was a surprisingly brief stay.
Wasn't this daytime though?
Have to use the art he has.
Yeah, you gotta get to go with the
Yeah,
art
man.
that's available sometimes. This is the scene in a few hours.
It's the
The
moon
moon
gate,
is
right?
low.
That's okay. You can just open the moon and go through.
Oh god, I barely get here and I trip a friggin' 1 encounter. I can't wait to see
Um,
what the hell.
So Haru, what all sort of prey have you hunted for Deshret before?
I've hunted probably giant scorpions. I've hunted deer. I've hunted probably some things that are fairly large that are only on the eastern continent. Anything that is a worthy sacrifice.
Yeah. What was like the worst hunt you ever had? Like, was there one where you really regretted it?
Probably the giant scorpion, given that's poisonous and didn't have any antitoxins on me at the time. And that they can burrow under the ground and got the drop on me, which unfortunately was a very unpleasant experience.
I imagine so. Well, let me see if I have music for this. You step out into the forest. What weapon do you have at hand? Do you have your double scythe ready?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely the weapon I would be using for this.
All right, all right. It's remarkably peaceful out here. You you step out into the forest. The leaves kind of crunch very softly beneath your feet, and you take in a deep whiff through your nostrils, and you smell the smell of decaying forest, and not a whole lot else. And you determine that you need to step a little bit deeper into the forest to potentially find any sort of prey for Deshret. Also, power cord is a little bit distracting upon your olfactory senses, so you have to get a little bit farther away from camp. You can still hear them off in the distance, kind of getting it set up. They're kind of in like a depression. As you walk through, I think you find yourself thinking of the many different places about the world you've been. You come from a place where it's very dry, very hot, very sandy, and very rocky. And you've seen like a lot of new places. This is a very different kind of environment that you're used to, and I think you're a little bit distracted by just the difference. I'm not sure if you appreciate it or not, like if it's something that you're kind of enthralled with, but you're at least definitely distracted by it. I think you're wandering through, and you finally like find the tinge of a scent on the wind, like just the barest of a breeze. Your nostrils twitch a little bit, and you turn your head and you walk a little bit in that direction, unable to really tell what the smell is. And before you know it, you're actually a little bit farther away from camp than you actually really had intended to go. You're still not like way out of the way from shouting distance, but it's hard to just hunt right next to camp. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the sound of something moving through the woods, and it's really the first thing you've heard in here. Aside from like the sound of like the occasional bug, and I think you've probably seen maybe one or two crows or birds flying overhead. It's a very oddly serene forest. It's a healthy looking forest, but it's not a whole lot of actual life in here. And so when you hear something moving off in the forest, even faintly, I think you turn your attention that way. Do you make your way in that direction?
Yeah, I think I'm going to bring my blade kind of in a slightly raised position and start making my way that way. In fact, I might even cast magic weapon on it, so I can make this a swift, clean kill.
All right, yeah. Give me a magic weapon roll. That's good.
Cool.
If the failure would have been very bad.
Okay, I've enabled magic weapon on my sheet, and I will continue slipping my way towards
What is
where
it?
I heard this sound.
Tell us what it looks like when you cast magic weapon upon your double scythe.
When magic weapons cast on my double scythe, the actual metal blades that are normally a type of steel, they actually turn to what appears to be a very shiny gold, and you can almost see the reflection of the sun in it at all times. It's more so if I have light cast it
That's
out.
pretty cool. So we get this odd sort of dichotomy as you're walking through the canopy. It's a little bit shaded, but your blades are kind of giving off this dull gold light from them. It's not like they're illuminated; it's just like they're reflecting the sun's light. That's pretty cool. You hear some like I think footsteps, not footsteps, but like foot padding through the underbrush, and I think you you get the faintest sense of motion just from like the corner of your eye moving through brush, maybe about 80 feet away, and you like stop and you look over and you see a low four-legged figure, roughly dog-sized, just trotting between two bushes away from you.
Something that size probably is not a worthy sacrifice, and also, I have found that people tend to be protective of creatures of that size in this area. Unless
You
it
are
looks
notably
particularly
nowhere near
wild.
civilization.
Okay, so does it look? It looks really fair. What kind of thing does it look? Does it look like a dog, or does it look like something else?
Might have been, like coyote-esque, or maybe a little bit wolfy. Hard to tell. Like, you didn't see a whole lot of it through the brush.
If it's a small creature, perhaps I will look for something a little more worthy.
All right.
But
So,
I'll
what are you
definitely-
gonna do? Like, this is the only thing you've really heard in the forest. You're just gonna stop and try to re-examine your senses.
I will stop and I will try to listen deeply to the sound, and I will since I am currently hunting for Deshret, I believe I am going to seek his guidance in which direction I should go.
Okay.
I will look deeply into my blades and for a sign. And I will choose to oh boy, this is hard. Forget the spell.
So, Deshret, he prizes glory in battle and righteous victory, right?
Yep, and definitely things along those lines for sure. Very much
All right.
honorable fights as well.
You turn your scythes over and you look into their reflective golden surface, and you see the trees reflected behind you. You see your own face reflected in them, and you look a little bit deeper. And you see trees, but not the trees behind you. You see actually yourself moving through trees, and you see a cave, like a small cave. And you see yourself walking towards it, your scythe ready, obviously stalking towards it with purpose.
I'm going to immediately look up and scan to see if I can find a cave anywhere in my sight.
You do see where the ground starts to rise a little bit. You don't see a cave, but you do see where the ground starts to become a little bit more elevated to the northwest.
I will make my way that way as quietly as possible and start seeing what the Deshret wants me to do there.
All right. About 200 yards through the woods, you start to smell something. This is the first real hint of life or death in the forest. The smell of rotting meat. You approach what seems to be a small clearing. Do you stop on the edge?
Yeah, I'll definitely stop on the edge and see if I can spot where this meat might be coming from.
It looks to be a carcass in the middle of the clearing. From here, it looks to be maybe a little bit desiccated.
How big is the carcass?
Hard to say. It looks like it might be large deer sized, maybe mule sized.
I will glance it over and notice that is a fairly large creature, and I will look. I'll try and see if I can maybe. You know what? I'm going to see if I can perhaps track any footsteps coming to or from that creature.
You're going to
I'm gonna try
have to
do
actually get
discern
closer to do that.
I'm going to try to get closer, and when if I get the opportunity, I might try to use discern realities once I'm there.
Okay, so you're going into the clearing to track whatever it is that killed this thing.
Yeah, I'm going to quietly make my way up into the clearing
Okay.
right now to take a look.
right, so you slowly step into the clearing. And I think your eyes widen a little bit as you get closer, and you see the flies buzzing about this thing. This is no deer. This is the corpse of no mule. This is the corpse of a heavily ravaged black bear. To put that in perspective, this is a very large bear, which has had very large portions of itself removed. And in order for it to even vaguely resemble a large deer from a distance, kind of gives you an idea as to like how desiccated and also how ravaged this thing was.
I am going to take a closer look. Should I roll discern or should I wait for that?
You
I
can
do want to-
absolutely try to discern realities.
Sounds good to me. Do have some questions that are coming to mind right now. Okay.
You get one question.
I'm not sure what would apply to looking. Essentially, I'm trying to look for like tracks or signs of a creature. So I'm gonna say what happened here recently, along the lines of trying to figure out what might have done this, or if there's any sign of it.
All right.
Or even if I can't tell what creature, at least if I can maybe see if there's a sign of what direction it might have gone, maybe blood trails or anything
this is
like
a lot of stuff coming from what happened here recently. Would you
Whatever
like
you
to
think I
narrow
can
your
find.
question?
I'm just looking for any sign of the creature, I guess. What direction it might have gone, that sort of thing.
This does not look like it happened recently. As I said, it looks fairly desiccated. But yeah, you can look through the area, and you can see that nothing has been here for at least 2 or 3 days. You can tell what happened though. Something jumped this bear and mauled the ever-loving shit out of it. And more than that, you're glancing over it, and it doesn't look like this thing has been ravaged by scavenger birds or small animals. Like large chunks of this thing have just been removed.
Drew's going to kind of look to this, and then he's going to take another look around and see if he sees any sign of where this cave might be, though,
Yeah, no tracks, but you can see where the elevation is definitely starting to rise. You see there might be a mound deeper into the forest.
Haru turns. How far will that be from the camp? Quite a ways?
Yeah, you're already a fair distance away now.
I think that, I may, think that this cave is important, but at the same time, if I get killed out here and Telemon dies, that would be bad as well. So I think I'm going to at least go back that way and tell them of this cave and see perhaps if others would accompany me there. So I'm going to quietly start making my way back towards camp.
You turn, and Deshret's golden glow leaves your blade.
Haru's going to be greatly concerned by that, and he will turn back. He certainly was not meaning to offend Deshret.
I think, as soon as that happens, you do recall that you saw yourself alone walking into this cave.
I will start making my way to the cave again. Is my glow still faded from my blade?
Okay, all right.
Would I be able to petition him or petition Deshret perhaps to reinstate my glow? Offer my apologies that.
How would you do so?
I will definitely probably go down, take a knee, and offer him a prayer and say that the fence was not meant. I was merely hoping to protect Telemon, but at the same time, if I am meant to go here alone, I will go here alone, or something like that. And then perhaps pray for my magic weapon's return.
Nothing happens.
Ooh, interesting. Let me mark that down. I am disabling it right now. I forget the spell, or should I just leave that alone for now?
No, you don't forget the spell. It just left your weapon.
Okay, I'm going to start heading towards the cave then, even under the circumstances.
All right. Back at camp, I'm not sure how long everybody was expecting Harudeshret to be gone. He was supposedly heading out to hunt something to slay, to sacrifice. What is everybody else doing in camp right now?
Well, I'm on watch, so I'm probably just, I guess I'm just sitting on the ground.
I'm cooking up a vittle stew.
I figure my watch is what, like 3 hours or something? I wouldn't expect him back before his watch comes around.
I can take several hours to hunt.
I will be resting.
I'm snoring loudly and drooling.
Yep. I imagine he probably just tripped into a bed, maybe
well,
not
I
even your
suppose
own.
I'll be the only one that does any cooking around here, it looks like. So when y'all eat it, you better not complain.
I think Tolston's just resting his back up against a nearby tree, kind of observing everybody from maybe 6 feet away, and he's just kind of looking off into the distance towards like the faint structures you guys can still kind of see, but you definitely can't make any details out of about.
Well, if there's a bunch of us awake, I probably would. I thought we were doing rests, but
Not yet. It's only been like 30 minutes or so.
there's a bunch of us awake. I have an interest in that Arcana Magnifica or whatever it is. It's in the Sarcasmicon.
Okay. What would you ask the Sarcasmicron? As you pull the pyramid from your bag.
What mysteries lie within the Arcanum Grandiosa, mighty Sarcasmos?
So, like, you kind of rub the pyramid almost like a genie lamp, and Sarcasmos yawns into existence, and he's like, disturbing me again already. Be ye friend or foe.
I mean, your friend is always Sarcasmos.
You have answered correctly, and you will be spared your mortal fate another day. Yes. What's your question again? He yawns, rubbing his eyes.
What mysteries lie within the Arcanum Grandiosa?
That's a very generic question. As the GM brings up the index for everybody. The Arcanum Grandiosa contains all of the collected knowledge of Sarcasmos the Magnificent, and the collective arcane research of the Arnhen Mages Order. Access can be highly restricted. No initiates allowed. He kind of wiggles his finger in your general direction.
In what spells within did you think the mighty Telemon the Red would be interested in?
There's a quirked eyebrow.
I'm sure that there's at least a few in there you think that I would like.
Alright, so you're definitely trying to find a spell in Arcanum Grandiosa. Give me a wisdom roll, or an int roll, whichever you wish to do.
Int, I'll have the
Alright. Wow. Yeah, he kind of walks a little bit closer, and I think he puts his hand up in front of his mouth like he's telling you a secret. He's like, it took me decades, but I finally outdid him. He wasn't expecting it, He always thought he was the master of fire. But only I know the secret.
Oh god.
I found his research notes. He never completed it, though. But only I know the secret of Fireball 2.
Oh god. A stronger fireball, you say? I sound very interested.
he's like, keep your voice down. You can't just let that sort of secret out of the Sarcasmicron lightly.
Oh.
It's been the
Perhaps I
doom.
should whisper
been
into
the-
my mic then.
It's been the doom of kingdoms.
Oh my. You tell me you didn't make a level 9 fireball, did you, Star?
Perhaps the GM did.
Oh god.
It may or may not have been how Sarcasmos got his final title, Sarcasmos Who Shook the Mountains.
Oh god. Perhaps another time I will see about obtaining this stronger fireball.
You'd have to prove that you could cast it. It's a very, very horrifying power. I dared use it only once. I doubt you could find something like an apocalypse dragon to warrant its use.
Well, you say that, but...
So we cut back to the woods as Telemon gets dreams of even more grand, like Spirit Bomb-esque fireballs in his head.
Oh god.
I don't know. If one is in an airship flying over the ocean...
Heru Deshret, you have your scythe in both hands, and you are approaching a cave.
As before I reach in the cave, since this was apparently deemed of such importance to take my magic weapon away, I am going to like kneel down, put the bolt ends of the blade kind of into the ground, and lean on the handle, and I will I'm going to try to cast Revelation from my memory stone.
Ooh.
Apparently, this is more important than maybe I had realized.
Alrighty. Revelation. Your deity answers your prayers with a moment of perfect understanding. The GM will shed light on the current situation. When acting on the information, take +1 forward. That's a 10. So you pause and you close your eyes. And you can almost feel the damp air of a cave around you almost as soon as you do. And you hear a low growl, but like deeper than any dog or wolf that you've ever heard, coming like right next to your ear. And like you have to steel yourself from opening your eyes and ending the vision. And you smell an incredibly potent, incredibly wolfy, doggy, very strong smell in here, and this growl is getting deeper and louder, and you can hear like a padding of feet and claw, and like the hairs on the back of your spine are going up as this happens, and you can smell the coppery, like you can almost taste the coppery taste of blood as you smell blood inside of this cave.
Ew, boy. Do I get
And-
any understanding of what is in it?
Um,
Nature of this beast.
I think you are gifted with one word, or I guess one phrase: the cursed.
Oh boy. I think that's going to, Deshret's going to think about that for a second, and something almost seemed to click in his head as he prepares his weapon again, and prays that Deshret will return his strength to his weapon when the time comes, and start making his way towards the front.
Yeah, you take a step forward and a twig breaks. And you hear a low growl somewhere.
I will continue marching towards the crave. I'm going to be praying for my freedom, my weapon's return to its to Deaththreat's glory before I face this thing.
You take another step, it remains mundane in your hand, and you take another step, and you're gulping, and the cave looms, bigger and darker before you.
If I'm gonna fight this thing, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna cast light on this now, at least. If I can maybe have the magic effect weapons, perhaps I can at least shine my Deaththreat's light
Give me a
into
spell
this.
roll. We might have Haru just disappear into the woods and never return.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the sunlight effect amplifies greatly as it says the sun is almost directly beaming onto my weapon now, and it
Okay.
glows.
All right. So yeah, like you feel a little bit of courage return to you, and you strengthen your resolve, and you kind of shunt the blade towards the cave and start pouring light forth into it, and you start slowly marching into it. Do you proceed?
I proceed. I've got a very, very stupid plan in my mind, but I'm going to proceed.
All right. Cave music.
Oh god, if I'm right about this, oh man, this one roll could really screw me, but I guess we'll see.
You set foot into the cave. Your hoof clomping a little bit against the dirt and stone, and you smell death in here. There's obviously some rotting animal very close by. You also smell, exactly from your perfect understanding vision, is the like wet dog, almost like the strong smell of wet dog.
I am going to, I guess, inhale deeply and try to determine where I think it might be coming from.
There are, I'm not going to say branches, but there are basically kind of three, I guess, sub areas of this cave as you're kind of moving in. Where there's like an area off to your right, kind of filled with roots. Would be very hard to push yourself through. It looks like it's almost like just a hole of blackness moving off to your right, and it's kind of surrounded by roots, and you have no idea where it goes. Further ahead, you can see that the cave proper kind of has a small room, and you can see what looks to be like a dead, like a giant elk that's been like ripped in multiple pieces. That's again been rotting for days, just on the very edge of your vision. And in that room, you can see that it splits off into what looks to be two passageways.
I will look between the two passageways and take the left one.
All right. You step forth through here, stepping through some blood. Looks fairly dried. Some flies buzzing about you, but not too many of them. And I think you jump back just a hair when something scurries through the tunnel. You see it's like some sort of large mole. And like it scurries away from your light and into like a small hole in the wall. Further in this little passage, you can see it arcs sharply to the right and downward, and you can hear the sound of dripping water.
I'm going to see if I can angle my blade to see as far in front of me as possible with my light, and I will start making my way towards the dripping water.
Okay. Um, it's kind of a tight fit in places, but there are worn areas of the stone. It looks like you're not the first person to have gone through here, maybe many times. And there comes a point where you have to like put your back up against the stone and your chest up against the other end and like kind of shimmy through to the side and put like the scythe ahead of you and sort of kind of move in sidestepping. And at the bottom of this like natural ramp, you come out into what seems to be a very small grotto. Looks to be 30 or 40 feet in diameter. There's like a small pool of water in the middle. It's not like perfectly rounded by any means. There's some stalactites hanging from the ceiling. And as you move your scythe around, you can see it's casting heavy shadows here. There's another, like, there's the shadows of what seems to be another passage here. And it looks like there's like a lot of debris in the corner.
Do I hear any sign of the creature?
You pause for a few moments. You hear something echoing through one of the cavern, I guess, walls, but nothing definite. And you turn around, and it sounds like it's coming from the passage behind you. But the next time you hear it, it sounds like it's coming from the one, also like the next one in the room. It's very hard to place.
I think that I'm going to start making my way back towards the entrance corridor where they split off. I'm not going outside of the cave, but I want to get kind of where I've got options to maneuver. So I want to try and make my way back there before I make my next.
Okay, so you start to make your way back up there. There's that section again where you have to kind of press yourself up against the wall and start to move through. When you're moving through this time, there's like a grating sound, and there's a shh, and your armor plates start to like grind up against it fairly substantially, just coming from this direction for some reason. And you look down and you can see like your bronze plating is getting heavily scratched, and it's taking you a little moment to get through, and it's definitely a little bit loud.
I'll try and push through what I can. I need to get back to the entrance area before I make my next play to try and track this thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you make your way back to the fork.
All right then. This is going to be a bit of a problem. I'm going to.
You're standing in this fork with this long dead elk, which is absolutely massive, like bigger than some small bears.
I am going to take up a ridiculous defensive position, keeping my back to the outside because I know this thing is inside, so that's the one place I can count on not getting hit from in my mind. And I am going to immediately declare, "Cursed creature, show yourself!" This might not be the best plan, but...
You just hear a really low growl from one of the passages. But you can't tell which one.
Forwards, and I'm not really sure where it's coming from. Would I roll defend now, or would I wait until he actually showed up?
You would roll defend now if you intend to defend this position.
Definitely intend to defend this position.
All right. Good luck.
If it lets me roll. I put the roll command in, it still says rolling the dice. There it goes. Oh, I'll take that.
That's a success. I think that's hold 3.
I will make a mark of that.
Okay, so you hear... Yeah, you hear a growling coming from the cave, and you hear a scratching. And at the very edge of your light, from the rightmost passage, you see a pair of golden amber eyes, very heavily squinted, just at the very edge of the darkness. Like, almost basically just slits, and you hear this very low rumbling growl.
As I'm not sure if this thing is entirely natural, do my senses make any impact on it? Am I able to tell anything about this creature's affliction? I'm just curious.
From your senses, absolutely not.
Okay. In that case, I am going to continue holding my defense, and I will once again pray for the last time for Deshred's favor to re-empower my weapon as I stand ready. I don't know if he will do it or not. I don't know if I need to roll or not.
Are you going to try to do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can pray to re-empower my weapon.
All right, go ahead. All right. So yeah, your weapon returns with a glow, and like you wave your hand over it while saying some words. Your weapon is magically charged, and as that happens, there is the low growl turns into a bark, and out of the shadows leaps like a form from Nightmare.
Oh boy, here we go. That's pretty ironic. Fighting a werewolf. Every game we're in. Except for Star Wars.
It leaps directly at you. This is a massive creature, and I think you spin your scythe out in front of you, like just in time to like send it like hopping sideways over the corpse of the elk, and it kind of dances around the edge of your blade. You can see like a faint intelligence behind its eyes, and a more than a lot of ferocity, and it moves with blinding speed as it dives again at you. How do you spend your hold, because it is most certainly attacking you?
Absolutely. 1 second, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because there's something I did want to ask a question. I am going to have the attack's effects or damage. I'm going to deal damage equal to my level. Now, I know that there's no ally here to open it to. What I'm thinking is, I'm going to try to do, if I can use it for that, I'll leave it up to you, is I want to try to get an opening so I can physically maybe get my actual hands on, or one of my hands on this creature.
It may require defying danger.
I'm willing to do that in this case. I really want to try to get one of my hands on this creature. For the mother of all bad ideas.
We'll see. All right, so what are your first two options?
I'm going to deal damage equal to my level, which is 6. I don't know if magic weapon figures in that. And I am going to
I would think it does.
Have the effects attacker damage.
Okay. All right. Roll your damage then.
I roll normally just deal damage. Do I roll just the magic weapon, or do I roll the whole attack?
Your magic weapon plus your level.
Oof, I'll take that.
Nice. All right, so this thing charges at you out of the darkness, like I guess it's kind of like the moving darkness, because you're moving your blade, and the blade is the source of your light. Can you roll a D10 plus 2?
Here we go. This is gonna hurt. Oh, of course.
You only take 6 damage. You deal it 9. It man, you slice it straight across the chest, leaving like a literal molten trail of gold across its chest, like several times, and it like howls in pain. But it like forces your blade aside, and it just jumps onto you, and I think it grasps onto your shoulders, and it takes a chunk. Yeah, it armor negates too. It takes like a chunk right out of your bicep, and You most certainly have your hands around it. It also has its arms around you.
Oh god, yeah, here comes the really bad idea, and I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna look at it straight in the eye, and I'm going to start uttering a prayer in the language of my people. I am going to try to cast Lay on Hands.
Ooh, I like this.
I only have a flat 2d6, but God help me.
Let's see here. Lay on hands. When you touch someone skin to skin and pray for their well-being, roll plus cha. On a 10 plus, you heal 1d8 damage or remove 1 disease. On a 7 to 9, they are healed, but the damage or disease is transferred to you. All right, roll
Oh,
cha.
boy.
I really
This could
love
be
this.
incredibly bad.
I really love this. Is this what? Have you been saving your hold for this? Your +1 forward?
I have. Oh yeah, no, I hadn't forgot about the +1 4. I'm definitely gonna use that. Absolutely.
It seems an appropriate time.
Oh.
Well, at least it
no.
wasn't a fail. If you
I
didn't
don't
have
know.
that forward, it would have been a fail. Ooh.
Oh no, that could be bad. in this case.
Wow. Well, this is gonna make an interesting campaign turn. So like, you drop your scythe and you like grasp this thing by the shoulders. What do you say to try to remove the curse on this thing?
I'm gonna be basically speaking in a completely unusual language and almost a rapid chant, basically praying to take the curse in this creature and cure the afflicted. Look after the people.
Weru Destret. Okay, so like, you can see it like it reaches back with its claws and it starts to like bring them down towards you, and its eyes suddenly bulge. And there's like a choking sound in its throat, and it stares at you, and you can see like a vein pop out in its forearm, and it falls backwards away from you, letting go of you. It stumbles backwards, and it's got this horrible choking sound in it. Like, it puts its hand to its breast, and it looks like it's like not getting any air, and its eyes are wide, and it looks back to you, and it falls over, and it's trying to scurry backwards. As it happens, it's continuing to try to skirt back from you, but as it does, you can see it's losing fur. I think you see the golden eyes of this creature start to shift a little bit, and then you feel a horrible pain in your shoulder where you were bitten, and then in your heart where it feels like something is grabbing hold of it and like tearing, and you double over in pain, and we cut to a different scene.
Holy crap. Yeah, I almost realized that was quite a risk when you're rolling flat dice. Thank God for that +1, like you're saying. I'm glad. Thank you for reminding me on Revelation. I almost slipped my mind. That was very helpful.
So, wow.
Not where I expected to go with that.
It's well past Haru's watch, and he has not shown back up. I think nobody was really worried at first. Somebody said something about maybe he's just not having a whole lot of luck on the hunt, but then it went to the next watch, and he still hadn't shown up, and it's only an hour or two before nightfall. Maybe an hour. It's already dusk.
The big one has not returned.
Perhaps we should go and look for him. He could have come into some trouble, maybe?
I think Tolston says, there's no end of trouble he could have found out in those woods. I knew this was a bad idea. I didn't think he would venture so far, though.
Perhaps I can have the Jade Falcon go have a look. He's quite good at finding things.
Oh, so you're gonna send the Falcon up?
I think so. If we can agree that we would like to go find him, I for one think we should.
Okay. I think you have a role to search for things with your Falcon, do you not?
I do. He can hunt and track.
Yeah, man. Give me a roll.
I get to add. Hunt and track is normally wisdom for ranger, right? Hunt and track actual ability is not described on the Jade Falcon.
It's a ranger ability, yeah.
Oh, I thought I pasted it to.
It says you can hunt and track, but I don't think I actually have it anywhere.
Let me paste it onto your sheet then. All right, it's at the bottom of your character sheet now. When you follow a trail of clues left behind by a creature or passing creatures, roll Whiz.
Right up. So I have no wisdom of my own, but I get to use the Jade Falcon's cunning, so I still get to roll
Yep.
+3. $13.
Nice. On a 7+, you follow the creature's trail unless there's a significant, or until there's a significant change in the direction or mode of travel. On a 10+, you also choose one. Gain a useful bit of information about your quarry. The GM will tell you what. Determine what caused the trail to end. So which one do you choose?
That depends if the trail actually ends somewhere. The track is you follow the trail until there's a significant change.
I will treat this as a success. You are flying. I guess you close your eyes and you're flying over the forest for only a scant few minutes when you see a large hulking form stumbling through the woods. And you peer down through the eyes of the Jade Falcon and you can see that it is Heru Deshret stumbling through the woods, not like in the general direction of your camp, but not precisely like making a beeline. It looks like he's clutching his side.
He seems to be nearby, slightly disoriented.
Is he wounded?
He seems to be clutching a wound in his side, so perhaps what he was tracking got the better of him.
Aye, there are many beasts in these woods.
I do not think it is far. Come.
I will follow.
But my soup will burn. Oh well.
The soup will last a bit longer.
All right, so Heru, things are kind of hazy for you. You recall meeting a man with like a large sort of shaggy dark beard, long shaggy hair. He was kind of a mountainous sort of man, very very bulky and muscular and large. He had like a lot of scars across his body. You don't really recall much about the encounter. I think you kind of stumbled out of the cave, like across from that. Like you didn't actually like say anything. You just like recall him, like this wolf transforming into a man before you. You know, somebody you'd never seen before, obviously, and you like have felt racking pains throughout your body. And there was a moment where you blacked out, and you're not sure how long. For you, it's not been hours, but for everybody else, it has been. And you're making your way through the woods when suddenly you hear something in the distance, and you stop, and you look up, and you can see several people moving, in your direction, and it takes you long seconds to recognize them as friends.
I think I'll definitely try to, if I still can, raise my arm towards them and holler that I am here if I see them. I'm trying to focus my mind.
So yeah, you guys happen upon the wounded form of Heru Deshret standing there.
Hiro, what happened to you?
I'm going to try to brace myself and look up and say, Telemon, there was a cursed creature. And then I'm going to start to kind of fall to my knees and start to pass out for a second, but try to recoup long enough and say that it transferred to me, and I'm going to cough horribly as I start to try to stand up. And when I tried to cure, and then I'm just going to kind of fail standing up for a second. Definitely very woozy.
You are cursed.
What sort
I
of
mean-
disease?
Creature, and I'm going to kind of almost fall down to my one arm and kind of lean on it and say that it appeared more wolf than man. I tried
There's
to
like-
heal it.
There's a groan from the back of the group, and I think somebody steps aside to reveal Tolston standing there. And he's just like, oh boy.
What do you know of this, Tolston?
I was able
You know
to
the
cure
beast
it,
of
I
the
will
forest
say
better
that.
than most.
This is no beast of the forest, but a man. There were tales. Tales, that my great-grandfather once knew a man cursed by the disease known as lycanthropy. Werewolf. He was unable to find a cure for him. And instead found him a remote place to live.
Haru turns up and says, the glory of Deshret cured him. But unfortunately, I'm going to motion to the wound. I'm going to say that I cannot do the same for myself. How long do I have? I'm going to ask, and I look to Tilston.
There's like a grimace. We wait tonight for the full moon to rise over the moon gate.
God.
Haru crosses his arms and says, this is not good. Unfortunately, my people would be able to heal me, but I don't know who in this land could. We have taken care of many creatures such as that. They, in fact, have become almost extinct in our land. The Anubi were very dangerous in our world. He's going to pause for a second and kind of look down to the wound and said, I'm not unfamiliar with the type of disease, but I've never seen that particular thing before. I'll look up the graves and say, will I be able to control it? You need to tie me down. I will surrender my weapon if that is what was required.
I think he pulls something from a pouch, and you can see like the glint of something, and it's like a hand crossbow bolt with a silver tip, and he says, "It'd be better if we simply use this."
He looks to it and says, I will kill the others then. Is it necessary to end me now? And I'll stand up and
I've
kind of look to
I've
the rest
heard
of
of
the group.
very few who are able to even fight their nature. No one has ever been able to control it.
Probably look to the others and kind of look to Telemon and see what if he has any input on, if he has any ideas what I might be able to do. Telemon, I have an idea perhaps until I can be cured, though it is most disturbing.
Your god, you say your god transferred to you? You can't do the same to yourself?
Ryu shakes his
To
head
purge
and
it from
says,
yourself?
I can only heal another. It is the way of Neshret. I cannot heal myself in the same manner. the others in the Order of Deshret would be able to heal me, but alas, they are not here. There are some that specialize in such endeavors.
The purging of curses is something that's very difficult. In the wizardly arts, there is no way I know of to do so other than perhaps the power of ritual, but I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it is very difficult to find a place to conduct such rituals.
Deshret's gonna kind of turn to Telemon, and he'll think about it for a second. He's gonna scratch his head and say, Telemon, perhaps what you did to Demas, you could do to me. At least I would not be much of a danger
God.
to you tonight.
Turn him into a corgi.
Where corgi?
At least I would not be a threat to others at such a size, I am sure.
This is true, and perhaps it can be done. We would have Demas would remain in his large form. Then I cannot maintain two at once. Well, unless I roll a 10+, then I can choose 2 targets.
Drew is crossing his arms and says, it is just a thought. I do not know what else to do, other than what Tolston is suggesting. I do not want to harm anyone here, and that is why I tell you now, directly and openly.
On the moon, you become a creature? Do you come back into your form when sun rises?
This is generally
I'll
how
let
these
you,
things go.
I think that, I think Graves, or not Graves, Haru is going to nod slightly and say, the Anubi, they did not turn back. They were much worse to deal with, but I'm going to kind of look to the others and look to Telemon and say, if you have any other ideas, I would be happy to hear them. I'm not in any hurry to abandon this quest and my death.
That could contain you safely for the night. However, it is not one I possess.
Lock him in a cave and put a boulder in front of it, maybe? I don't know. That may be a
We cannot
possibility.
delay the mission, and we cannot delay the mission. We must go through the moon gate. You must do something with me now, so we can do this. I'm gonna look to everybody else for a second, growing increasingly concerned that this might be a no-win scenario.
I can make you into a much smaller creature for the time being, if that is what you wish. It could buy us some time to perhaps find a solution. It will take but an hour to prepare the spell. Actually, no, I don't. I can cast it right now. I want to.
Haru will nod and say that I thank you, Telemon. Hopefully, I can one day complete this quest and return to the Order of Deshret to cure myself from this. But in the meantime, I simply do not want to harm my companions. Or most of all, you.
Very well. If we are in agreement, I shall begin.
Poor freaking Deshret.
So, so you guys move back to the camp, or do you just do this out in the middle of the woods?
I guess we would, help him back to the camp. It's
Okay.
not dangerous in the woods per se. It's probably dangerous.
Yeah.
in the
So
camp
by
too,
the time you guys get back to camp, darkness is definitely falling, and the moon is definitely starting to rise. And Tolston says, "If we are to do this, it will be soon."
Very well then. You'll sit here, Haru. I shall attempt it. I wish to load polymorph. So I
Oh
need
god, that's great.
use-
Goddamn sheep ruins everything.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna delete. I'm deleting that one. Never again.
So like, lose
Keep
freeze
ruining
grasp,
everything.
lose invisibility, lose magic weapon, and I can accomplish the task and load polymorph. And I will lay my hand upon Hero Deshret and cast polymorph.
Right. So by the time this is happening, the moon is definitely starting to rise, and Heru is starting to feel like blood pumping through his veins. And Heru, you are feeling like the urge to hunt and to kill. And like I think you're sitting here in the middle of the camp, and like everybody around you is here, and like you're like trying to. I think maybe you're sitting in a meditative pose, and you're
I also think I might have handed the Axis Mundi and the Will of Kings to Telemon before I.
Oh, indeed. I will take them, but I can't hold them for the time being. But we can work that out in a minute.
I'll definitely be passing those to you for the moment while I'm in this tiny size and insane.
So you like you're there as he's starting to prepare his spells, and your senses are becoming vastly sharpened.
This is not. I'm preparing it from the memory stone. It only takes a moment.
Okay. It's his senses are still
Okay. But
becoming sharpened.
It's not gonna take the hour it would take to prepare from the book.
Yeah, it's still almost nighttime.
Okay. Still gonna attempt to cast it.
Okay, you can let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
And like you can smell like cinders and I think like the smell of sulfur almost like kind of wafting from Satal. You don't even really want to know what you smell from Powacord. Telemon smells, I think, of old tomes. You notice something odd though, is you're like desperately trying to tamp down on like the heightened senses and like the beating heart beneath your chest. Fergus is curiously lacking from a lot of your senses. I think like maybe you glance over at him, and where you smell like blood and hear pulsing blood almost from the others, and like feel the urge kind of rising up to rip their throats out. Like you kind of glance over at Fergus, and like it's almost like he's an object, just kind of standing there. Like you can kind of hear a faint blump, blump every minute or so, and it becomes increasingly obvious to you as you're like kind of tamping down on this urge that like there's something odd. But Telemon, you are like in the process of getting ready to cast your spell. So what do you do?
I'm going to attempt to polymorph him into a caterpillar and put him in a bottle.
Oh, that could. Okay. All right. You said it.
Make me into mini
Where
Haru, but
caterpillar?
okay.
That could end so badly, but you already, yeah. Roll polymorph. All right, 12. Your touch reshapes a creature entirely. They stay in that form until you cast a spell. Describe the new shape you craft, including any stat changes, significant adaptations, or major weaknesses. The GM will then tell you one or more of these. So it will have all of the unintended benefits and weaknesses of a caterpillar. It can wrap itself up in a cocoon. It kind of like shits liquid little things when it's in your hand and you don't want it to. It's also very squishy. It can hang upside down from things. Its mind is definitely a little bit altered. Not full caterpillar, but definitely nowhere near full Deshret. Yeah, so you're starting to actually hunch over, and like your body is racked with pain, and I think everybody can see that Haru's fur is starting to elongate, and there are things happening to his body that are absolutely terrifying. And then all of a sudden he starts to shrink and turn green, and he disappears from sight, and like Telemon rushes over, and there's like a small greenish caterpillar there, that is swiftly becoming coated in coarse hair.
I scoop him into a bottle and put a top in and put a couple little holes.
Okay, yeah. You hear like a hissing from inside the bottle. And there's like
Nerve
literally coarse like hair covering this thing to where you can't even really see it anymore, and there's just like, and it like you hear like a plink as it throws itself against the glass.
That
It's
be
really
terrifying.
big and bulky for a caterpillar.
Well.
Mark that you have Weru Deshret caterpillar
Oh,
in a
God.
glass jar in your inventory on your person.
Oh yay.
This may be the funniest inventory item we've ever had.
That is kind
And that's
of
saying a lot when we have a salt turtle miniaturized.
And doesn't Demas show up in its full glory?
That is true.
Indeed.
Our
You didn't
friend
say
never
that you
seen
were putting
Demas
him down
probably, has
anywhere.
he?
That if I was a mean GM, I could kill you right now. The last I heard, he was in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna do that, but I forgot about it. Aside from we were talking.
Wizards who forget things are dead wizards. Where did you put Demas?
I was gonna put him off to the side of the camp before I cast the spell, but then things started happening.
Suddenly there's the breaking of trees, and Tolston's like, holy shit! And Power Cord, this is the first time you're seeing this giant dragon turtle, the size of an inn, that just immediately craters like the nearest edge of the forest. And Demas arrives.
Hi, Demas. You didn't say that would happen, Tel.
I did say that if I had to cast a spell, it would end.
I have a bardic lore on creatures unusual. Can I make a roll for that?
Which creature unusual?
Yeah.
God.
Which one?
The turtle, the giant.
Okay, yeah.
Dragon thing, whatever.
So your bardic lore, you don't have to roll on it. You know that dragons aren't just like, the winged things you see in the skies occasionally that swoop down and eat children and villages and cows. There's all form of dragon and dragon kin. Dragon turtles are like an especially odd sort of branch family. They're like giant turtles, but they are somehow mixed with dragon blood. Turtles themselves typically live to be very old. Dragons tend to live to be very old. Dragon turtles are perhaps like one of the longest lived species on the planet. They can get very big, and it's possible, it's theorized that they never stop growing. If they do, they're not a very common species at all. They also have kind of an affinity for elements, kind of like dragons. They are inherently magical in some sense. They're not sentient fully, but they're sort of close. They're a lot smarter than dogs as they mature, and it's kind of assumed that the bigger they are, the older they are, the more intelligent they are. Maybe some of them, the size of islands, might be more intelligent than people. Who knows? This one's at least a couple 100 years old.
Okay then.
They're not inherently aggressive, but they are somewhat protective of their territory. You can see on the top of this one's shell, there's a small ecosystem. There's several trees with blue fronds on top. There's shrubbery. There's a couple rocks on top. Demas just kind of looks about. He's got some ridges on top of his head that look very draconic, He just looks about and he snorts, and he
Oh,
kind of
Demas.
noses down towards you guys, and like his head is big enough to where if he opened his mouth, he could swallow like an ox and a cart.
A little bit earlier than I expected, but good to see you back in your normal form again. Well,
Yeah, Demas just kind of like cocks its head at you, and then like looks almost cross-eyed at this jar that you're holding.
indeed, it was quite unfortunate. We had to pain our companion for the time being. But we'll see how that works out. But in other news, power cord, Demas, power cord.
It just like turns to you, and like I think it stares at you, power cord, like from maybe 6 feet away.
I'm going to like hold the neck of my lute in one hand, like pound my chest, and then hold my hands out, right, and say, "Deimos, the great tortoise dragon of the seas."
There's like a moment, and then it just like goes to nuzzle you, and it completely knocks you off your feet. And like for some people, this might actually crush bone, but it starts like nuzzling you into the soft earth, and I think there's like a lick.
Oh, great! So now I smell even worse.
Yep.
Or better.
All right. So your guide eventually gets you guys to move on. It's about time we made our way to the Moon Gate.
Indeed. It is worth noting that, though it may be to our detriment, while I hold him in this form, if I cast a spell, it will end.
Probably should not cast a spell then.
So it would seem.
Wait, so you can't cast any spell?
If I cast any spell, polymorph will end.
Ooh.
And we will have Minotaur on our hands.
Yeah?
I
cast something, yup.
perhaps we could ride Demas through the gates.
So you guys make your way up towards the foot of the mountain, and
Are we riding Deimos?
you guys can. He's
'Cause
big
if
enough for
we're
all
right-
of you to ride.
If we're riding Deimos, then I am standing on his head at this time, playing my lute.
Oh God.
Oh, you can absolutely do that. He kind of swings a little bit as you like with your notes in time.
It seems to get along well with you, power cord. Do you prefer power? Do you prefer cord? Do you prefer the whole thing?
I do not have any preference. Call me what you will. My music does my speaking for me.
I love power cord.
Aye, Green Man, let's go.
A couple hours later, thanks to Demas's help, you guys scale the foothills and make it to a very peculiar structure. What seem to be two very plain stone, it's almost like two halves of an archway, lie before you, in between the mountains. They rise very high up, and they have notches running along their base. And you can see the moon rising. I guess the moons, because there are two in our game, rising high in the distance. And like curiously, the moons actually kind of rise in between the gates, and you can see them like rising up. And it's almost imminently clear why there are notches up along the gates. Like, obviously someone was tracking the height of the moon for some reason. You have no idea why. And these things stand absolutely mammoth, and they basically form a gate to the entrance to the valley here, at the base of the mountains. I guess a low mist sort of pours out beneath them, and Demas kind of comes to a halt at the base, and Tolston urges everyone off the turtle.
Is the gate open, Graves?
He turns and he says, the gates are always open, but the moon must be high, must be between the gates for it to matter at all. We could go through now, but I must tell you a few things before we go any further. The keep lies in the mountains, as you know, but there is no one way to get to it. Between here and there are many things. No one quite knows if they're always there, or if they're created by the magic that protects this place. All I know is that there are many different routes to our destination. And some, I know, are much more perilous than others. I have two that I would suggest. There are several that I would not. Ultimately, it is your choice.
In what two would ye suggest?
Well, there is, of course, the old road, but I would stay well clear of that one, for reasons which hopefully we won't have to see. I think the most obvious route would be through the forest. He points up towards the base of the mountain, and you see a very thick, heavy forest leading up through, the base of the mountains and up really into the mountains themselves. He says,
And the path's less traveled?
Well, my father was convinced that there was a trail, and he points around the other side of the forest that follows the rivers. There is one specific river that flows down from the heights of the mountains. He was convinced that there was a tale of a secondary part of the fort, a back door, if you will. Some sort of escape route, or I'm not sure. All I know is this. My father journeyed into these mountains long ago, and he never came back. Neither path is safe. Neither route is safe. Both will be fraught with dangers. And it is not for me to tell you which we should take. The path through following the river and hopefully through the mountain pass. It's one that we know very little of. It could be potentially safer. It doesn't involve going through the forest. You yourself you yourselves know what sort of dangers lurk even in the forests outside of this place. But the forest itself would be the surest route. We would have to get there, though. And he points. You can see that there is a fair amount of, open terrain between the gates and even the forest and the mountains. It would require crossing the moors first. What do you think?
Which path could Demas walk?
The mountainous one might be difficult, but he seems a tough sort. He might be able to make both. On the other hand, it might be difficult for him to get through the forest. I doubt that it would stop him, but it might slow him. It might slow him considerably.
He also leaves a fairly obvious trail through the forest.
So I don't think we're getting around that.
No, it doesn't matter if we have him or not. Our presence will be marked. I have to warn you.
A creature of his light will likely sink in a moor.
There are forces here that will know that we are here.
Aye.
They are bound here
I kinda
either,
like finger
either
and
by
axe.
honor or by magic or by fate to guard this place.
Even from one such as yourself.
He nods. He says, supposedly only my family can truly make it up to the keep, but my bloodline holds very little sway with some of these dangers. I believe it to be a test. More than that, I believe my ancestor knew that not all were incorruptible, even without the use of magics. And there were some things that needed to be kept safe.
So there's a stink, dink, dink from the jar.
God.
Either way, we'll have to pass through the moors. It is an unfortunate reality. But your turtle, as you said yourself, is used to perhaps a climate. I doubt it will really hinder him that much. We more or less have to worry about the dangers there more than he.
Yeah. On the bright side, he is as much of a deterrent as he is a weakness being seen.
So alas, the forest or the mountains?
I lean toward the forest myself.
The
Venus
forest
would likely work
offers
better
fuel.
with the forest. Oh god.
Does
Did-
Fergus have
did-
a moment of pause when Satal says that? And you look up towards this
A moor
huge,
also produces
very
methane.
old and very thick forest, which looks like it's got a lot of timber and the trees are very
Lot
close
of-
together.
Yes.
Like if
Right.
you can see a forest
mountain,
fire
then. I
going
changed my
very
vote.
wrong there.
I figured. Little reverse psychology I'm using there.
what is power chord chime in?
Power chords, I think, just kind of chilling with the tortoise. He's
Alright.
getting a good adventure out of this either way, so he doesn't care.
Perhaps I should ask, is this through the mountain or over it?
I don't know. My father said that there was a series of rivers that emerged from the mountains. There was one that arced in the direction he thought where the keep lay.
Well,
He thought we
perhaps
could follow it high enough to where he said as a boy he saw a series of towers. He thought that they might lead the way.
one might mistake the peak of a mountain for a tower, maybe? Just a thought. Also, perhaps we might be able to surf part of the way. Depending on size
Demas!
of river.
Use hydro surf.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that at all, I swear. But
Yeah. The mountainous rivers is my vote. Otherwise, we're gonna have one less forest. I think.
Very well. Well, let's move then.
alright. They be getting shorter by the minute.
Well, it's night now, right? For the moon.
Yeah.
Well, sure, well. Moon be getting lower in the sky. I don't know.
All right, so you guys start making your way through the gates, and it actually takes you several minutes because these are very big gates. And Fergus, everybody else, walks through and they get kind of a cold shiver. Fergus,
I
as
feel
you
right
walk
at
through it,
home.
you feel like kind of a creeping sensation through your skin.
Mm.
And you just feel like an odd feeling somewhere deep inside you, and you feel like a presence, not a single presence. You feel many presences, and it feels odd. Somewhere in this valley, and in the mountains, there seems to be something that is on the edge of your consciousness that you're like, wait, what is that?
The undead hunger. No.
Hmm.
Ironically, Harudeshret might be the only one that lives. Unless he gets squished.
I just saw Hero Deshret, the wearer pillar floating down a river somewhere in my head when you said that. But
in a bottle. The sole survivor of the expedition. Some kid finds him and keeps him in a jar.
That could happen, because in theory, if I don't cast a spell, it doesn't end. One could argue.
Even if you die, it doesn't end?
It doesn't say anything in the spell.
Oh, interesting.
That's up to GM interpretation. So you make your way into the valley. I guess it's not even really a full valley. It's kind of, I guess it is. It's at the base of the mountains, and you turn your way away from the beginnings of the forest and make your way towards the moors, where you can see the rivers at the very edge of your vision. Is anybody talking about anything during this little journey? As I think there's the occasional like against the glass in your pocket, Telemon.
Oh yes, I'm probably quite concerned about it. It's like this condition Hero has. It concerns me, but there's nothing else I can do about it. I think. Anybody else have input?
Doesn't seem to concern anybody else.
I am not concerned. We will be victorious.
These gates, who made them? They look built.
I think Tolston kind of shrugs. He looks back, and I think Demas is walking back behind you, like 40 feet, so as to not trample you guys, and you have to kind of like look around Demas to see them. He says, "From my understanding, they were raised by magic."
Yeah, Sarkasmos said that he had helped in their creation, though he did not remember much about them. Some kind of spell he wove into them that makes them hard to remember, or something of that nature. In my time, he was my apprentice, but he had many a year to gain in power since I last saw him.
So who's leading the way? Like, I'm curious as to what the party formation is.
Isn't Graves leading the way?
I would imagine I'd be up front with Tolston.
Okay, all right.
I'll be in the rear.
All right.
I guess I'm somewhere in the middle of it since the rear is better taken.
I'm sitting on Deimos's head, plucking. my
Okay.
loops.
All right. Yeah. So somewhere from up in behind you guys, you can hear like the off-tone chords from power chord. Maybe this is why you guys are walking a little bit ahead.
I'm playing a dirge about Heru Deshret right now.
God help you if he gets a hold of the dirge of the dead.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to.
Oh, God.
We have things to carry that haven't been counted for right now. So they need to go on the cart, or they need to go somewhere on home territory.
Where is the donkey, by the way? In because is
Probably
he just being
behind
held
Demas?
on by behind Demas?
If it wasn't terrified of Demas when Demas
He
showed
probably
up.
would be.
Yeah, like is Fergus holding on to him? Because you
Yes.
guys are walking ahead of Demas. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see where you're going.
Yes.
There'd be no way to get the donkey up there. So, to ride him or anything, so, I guess I'm leading the donkey.
Okay, all right. It glances back occasionally, like terrified of Demas. Demas
pat
doesn't
its
even
head.
seem to notice him.
Right. So we have two magic items to distribute. Because the Axis Mundi is no longer being carried by Hero, and then the Axis Mundi, and he had
Oh yeah, that's a
Will of
great one to
Kings.
randomly distribute. Those are both
Yeah.
great ones to randomly distribute amongst the party.
I think I'll probably have to end up keeping both of those.
Hey,
The
Power
campaign
Chord, here's
enders.
the Axis Mundi. You'd rock the planet, Power Chord. Literally.
I
Oh.
could do Sovereign's Will. I've got a good will roll if you want me to.
I don't think that's happening.
Oh, Telemon's actually learning. All right, so I think Telemon, do you have both of those on you? Are you just keeping them safe?
I will in a moment. I have
So you want me to
wait.
keep burning things instead of using a will? Okay.
Chaotic is it the same thing? It's completely
It sounds like he
different.
doesn't trust you. I don't know that I can blame him.
Probably wise.
Yeah, so Telemon, I think you're like picking through your bag, maybe like reshuffling everything as you guys are walking, and you step on something that crunches.
Crunches. I look
Yep.
down.
Like you pick your foot up, you find that you're standing on a skeletal hand.
Ugh.
Like Tolson looks down, and he's like, "What's the matter?"
Skeleton.
He kind of kneels down and he picks it up and he's like, "Oh." He just kind of like puts it back down. He's like, "Hopefully nobody I knew."
Did someone tell me what I'm missing on my sheet that's making me have 7 load when it looks like I only have 6 accounted for?
That's odd.
Bandages. One of them is in a white text for some reason.
Ooh. Don't know why that is.
Oh, that was weird.
Yep, that's not actually a weight. There we go. So. Yes.
Yeah, and you kind of step by that, maybe grimacing a little bit. And I think you step past what seems to be like a greave plate of armor, and you notice like a broken sword here, and it definitely becomes clear that like you haven't even really gotten to the moors yet, and you're stepping through like some kind of not graveyard, but like maybe some sort of small battlefield, like remnants of a battle.
Some kind of battle was fought here, and someone had the worst of it. By the look.
Yeah, Graves is definitely studying one, and you see him picking up a broken crossbow. It looks fairly distinctive, and he says, "This is fairly old, but this is definitely of our family's make."
Are there
Looks
any
like
battles
there's
fought
an-
over the keep that you know of?
He shakes his head. I'm not sure. A lot of that history was lost with the city.
Or an assault made, perhaps?
Several attempts have been made over the years to try to find it and take it back again, especially after things happened. We felt it might be a more secure place than Sidiere.
Mayhap someone got close, and then something killed them. We should be wary.
He frowns. Perhaps you're right. You say that, and then you hear like the whinny of a horse, and like it's not nearby, but it's kind of like within earshot. And I think everybody turns to look, and you can see a pair of figures mounted on horse, like up on one of the rises, maybe like a mile away.
Well, someone still lives.
Yeah, they're just like they're up there, kind of like staring down at you. Definitely, like I think maybe a mile away. And one of them kind of like is looking in your direction, very obviously.
But it's dark, right? So we can't see him real well.
It's nighttime, but the moons are high out. It's a fairly bright night. You certainly can't make any details of them from a mile away.
Yeah, they mark our passage. Mayhap this test you speak of.
Then we would be watched. Oh,
Well, I'll stand up and like brush my hands off and grab, just continue pulling the donkey forward. Well, time's a wasting.
For the time being, I still have the Falcon up. You can tell me when I have to recall it if it like it runs out of charge or something like that.
Okay. All right. So,
Be keeping your eyes peeled to the sides.
yeah, you're kind of getting it to circle your position as you move along. You can see, I think, Telmon, there seems to be some sort of old ruined structure out in the swamp of the moor. Looks like maybe an old tower. It's not like standing at all. You could probably only see it from the air.
Looking through the Falcon, I can see a tower of sorts ahead of us. Very old.
Oh. Your father spoke of towers, ye said. Mayhap this be one of them?
Perhaps. I like not those figures up on the mount, though.
Perhaps I can get a
Perhaps.
closer look of them.
How does that thing work precisely? He says, looking up at your bird.
It follows my command, and I perceive through its eyes.
Is that all? How are you linked?
Magically, I believe.
I would be careful.
Perhaps better to keep it close.
Yeah, so you think twice of it, and you kind of continue on with the lumbering form of Demas behind you. You pass more signs of combat. Some obvious remains. Nothing looks fresh at all. You know, some broken shields, some swords, that sort of thing. And you definitely kind of get into the moors proper. There's an obvious path sort of leading through this way. It's not paved by any means. You continue to follow it. You can hear the occasional kind of burble from the swamps. There's a few trees in here. They all look fairly bad off. The occasional crow fluttering away. And the entire time, those two figures up on the ridge just continue to look. And as you get closer, you can see that they're wearing armor, and they seem to have almost antlered horns on the side of their helmets. You can't see any specific details about their armor or anything. It's just you can make out the silhouettes of what look to be some fairly serious horns to the side of their helmets. And
I look up at my helmet and I'm sitting there thinking that's nothing unusual.
It also looks like their horses have armor too. Like their horses have horned helms, maybe.
I do not like those figures one bit, but there's little we can do with them from a mile.
You're definitely getting closer. Not approaching directly, but you're getting closer. Your path is taking you past them roughly. About 20 minutes of traveling, you've come within, I would say, a quarter mile of them, and you can see the river off in the distance, and you can actually see the ruin of the tower here in the swamp. It looks like it was probably a fairly plain square tower set up here for some reason. Probably not very tall, like maybe only 30 feet, and it looks like it had broken and fallen over onto its side, and its remains are now lying on the side of the swamp. This whole area is definitely very frigid and cold. This is a very cold swamp. Occasionally you can see some animal life in here, like a snake or a frog. I think you're making your way through here, and the next time you look up, is anybody keeping... It doesn't sound like anybody's just staring at these figures up on the ridge, right?
I'm
Probably
probably
glancing
looking.
from time to time.
I think I said I was looking side to side near us and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would take a.
At some
always watching
point-
them. You couldn't
At some
navigate the
point,
swamp then.
somebody looks back, and you see that there are 6 figures on horseback up there up on the mount,
There are more.
all kind of lined up.
I'm going to stand up on Damos's head and kind of throw my my loot kind of over my shoulder in a threatening-looking manner.
Okay, all right.
Not sure that's the best stance to take with them.
There's something odd about these figures and the mounts that they're on, but it's really hard to place from this distance. And you can see like a ruined structure nearby. For a very brief moment, you think it might be the fort you're looking for, but it looks too small. Tolston says, I wasn't aware that there was any sort of fortifications in the valley. Looks like an old Mott and Bailey, maybe. There's like a very small, really low, square, like wooden and stone fortification here up on top of the ridge. It's not like a very high. It's a ridge at the base of the mountain. So it's not way high up. It's not silhouetted or anything. It's small. It looks like it might be anybody who has any military experience. Might be Fergus, maybe Telemon, given his schooling, might be able to assess that it might be like the headquarters of a watch or a garrison or something, like a small garrison of
Mayhap
people.
someone lived in this valley before. It is entirely possible. Such stone structures can last many hundreds of years.
It is said that my ancestor acquired the territory from the Baron herself. It had gone unused for many years.
An outpost, perhaps.
I think things are not looking fairly good for our journey, however. He says, and he's like now pointing not towards the figures on the ridge, but towards a line of figures which have sprouted up in the swamp itself. Not very far away at all. You have like this kind of winding path through the swamp, and it looks like somewhere between like a dozen or 2 dozen figures have just kind of appeared there, within a couple hundred yards of you, and you can hear the clinking of metal, and you can see like the glint of armor. And they're standing kind of in a rough line, and you can see swords and shields from this distance.
I reach out and activate one charge of the Sunfire Ring to illuminate them.
Okay. I did say a couple hundred yards.
Oh. It's 60 foot, isn't it? It lasts the last 1 hour, so I still do it.
Okay, all right, yeah, so you use a charge from your ring. And like a brilliant blazing light appears from your ring, and you kind of sweep it out. And like it illuminates some of the darkness of the swamp. Like I said, it's a very bright night, but it still helps illuminate. It actually kind of reflects off of a lot of the fog. And yeah, you can definitely see that there is some sort of force ahead of you. And when you look back on top of the ridge, you can see the riders are now dismounting the ridge, and they are riding down the mountain.
I will activate Burning Brand in my free hand, hopefully.
All right.
11, so yes.
Tolston, do you think this may be your test? As I ready my axe. Also,
Tolston looks and he says, perhaps everyone should make ready. Those look like no friends of mine, he says, as they
as
the
ready
front
as
rank,
I'll ever be.
The front rank steps closer, and Fergus, you're getting an odd feeling.
They be the undead. Compatriots. No, don't say that.
My tags will be Remove the Dangerous and Thrown.
All right.
I'm going to ready my loot and shout at Satelazar and say, "Let the flames erupt!" And then I'm going to break into the old fantasy version of Through the Fire and Flames with my arcane art and try to inspire him to do even more destruction with his flames.
Awesome.
So I guess vicious cacophony.
So, are you trying to aid him? Like to give him +4 to damage? Are you trying to use vicious cacophony in addition to that? Like, is it you have it goes to 11? Yeah, so you're using.
So it'd be 2d4. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get him +2d4. So
Excellent.
That's 2d6 plus charisma, right?
Yep. All right. On a 7-9 spell still works, but you draw unwanted attention, or your magic reverberates to other targets, affecting them as well. GM's choice. So roll a 2d4. Oh wow, you're channeling Victor here.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So you get an additional. Oh wait, that was. They get an additional 2d4. You're not supposed to roll that typically, but I shouldn't have had you roll that. But yeah. So Tal, you get like a boost of inspiration as you hear like this thrumming chord from back behind you, and you can see Power Chord standing on top of Demus's head.
I like this song.
What does everybody do as the front ranks start closing, and you can see these riders starting to gallop down from the hills and get closer, although they're still obviously a little bit a ways away.
I have a quick question.
Do you think we could make the fortification?
Notably, they're riding from the fortification.
Okay, never mind that.
Never
The
mind.
tower the ruins of the tower are close by, but it's lying in the swamp.
And there's things out in the swamp that are kind of blocking our way to that.
No, they're along
off
the
to the side?
road.
Oh,
They're
okay, on
not
the
off to
road.
the side. The tower is off to the side of the road. They're across the road.
Ew, okay.
I stand in
So-
defense of Telemandars.
All right, roll con.
Does plus forward to damage, like, how does that work? Is it the next time you do
Yeah,
damage? you
next
choose
time I do
something?
damage, I'll be doing the plus 2d4.
I shouldn't have had you roll that 2d4. It's been a while since
Is there like
since
a
we've had
time?
that
Is there
happen.
like a time limit on how long that lasts?
No, it's literally
Nope.
the next time he does damage.
Okay.
There probably should be a time limit, but we haven't had it come up yet.
Yeah, if there is, like, it's just GM's call. Nicely done, Fergus. 3 hold. So Fergus, you rush in front of Telemon. This front rank is like they're starting to pick up speed, and you can see like half a dozen of these guys like definitely charging out ahead of the rest. Telemon, what do you do?
Like arcane power is not charged. Can't use that. I'll probably just call it like, why do you bar our path? We seek the ancestral holdings of the Graves family, and by their blood we will proceed.
They keep charging.
Does the sunlight affect them at all? Out of curiosity.
Not yet.
Yeah, just
Sure.
asking.
We're not in range yet.
No. I mean, they will be on
Yes.
their turn, but you can't know before they are. Wow, that's everybody. I forgot that Haru is a caterpillar right now.
Yep, Haru's caterpillar mode.
So Satal, that front rank is getting very close. they're charging flat out. It looks like they're going to be here in the next like 10 to 12 seconds. And you can see like the back rank is actually looks like they're pulling longbows.
Okay. I'm going to kind of use. What's Demas doing right now?
Well,
So
currently
he's-
Power Cord is on top of him.
Okay.
And he's maybe like 30 feet behind the rest of you guys. And Demas is like kind of facing. He's not sure which threat to face. He wants to face. Looks like he's wanting to face the larger group, but it looks like the riders are the more maybe imminent threat to him.
Okay. When the lead rider gets into range, I'm going to try to throw fire at him. A fiery weapon, throwing it at him.
Okay. All right. Give me a volley roll.
Wonderful.
Oh!
You eat an arrow.
Okay.
Demas lightning strike them.
Let me
Oh,
find
man.
the
I
web
have
page
seen
for
you
this.
shoot lightning.
Riding a lightning spewing turtle into battle while playing your music is definitely a moment for Power Chord.
Indeed.
Actually, you eat several arrows. Can you roll a d6 plus 4?
Yep.
You get pincushioned.
Yeah. Teach me.
Yeah, so I think like you start to like blaze with fire, and you pull back, and you're like, you know, you're going for a long range sniper attack. This guy's at like the longest distance possible, and all of a sudden, like, you're not paying attention to this back row of archers, and all of a sudden you hear this like this clinking in the air. You look like it's like wood on wood, and like you start to turn your head, and you look over, and you see like this hail of arrows just flying straight at you. And like you try to slither out of the way, and like a whole just like rain of them just pound into your tail and into your back and into your bicep as you like try to slither out of the way, and you get pretty annihilated by those.
Alrighty.
Power Cord. You are on top of Demas, and Demas is boom, 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 and then slosh, slosh, slosh into the murk, and it looks like he's trying to interpose himself between the riders and the group. What are you trying to do?
I'm still playing my song, and I'm going to like end my song with a you know, like
Riff.
a really loud riff
Mhm.
of "It Goes to 11,"
All right.
and I'm going to like shout at like the lead rider, like, "Go back to the shadow."
Okay. All right. So you're aiming this at the lead riders.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Give me a chaw roll, please. As it
Oh,
goes
boy.
to 11.
Roll high this time.
Nice.
Nice. On a 10 plus, the target attacks their nearest ally in range. So like there's this, and it just like travels through the air with this sonic blast, and I think like Demas sort of shudders beneath you, and like bats fly off from the mountains like a mile away, and I think like people nearby feel their bones sort of tingling a little bit. And this lead rider, he turns and he puts his hand to his helmet, and he shakes his head, and he veers sharply, pulling on the reins, trying to get away from this sonic blast, and he veers straight into the rider next to him, and it topples both them and their horses into the moor, and they both topple into the water, and like there's like a crashing and like the sound of like the horses screaming as they just ride right into the water, and it looks very painful. Fergus, the front line is getting right into maximum range of your light, and you can see that they are running into the light, and as soon as they do that, they start to slow down, but they're not stopping. Several of them are raising their shields up in front of their eyes, and they are slowly but steadily, like, now, instead of charging, they're like moving forward in kind of an advanced rank. There's
They
there's six
dislike
of
the
them.
light.
You see behind them, 3 of them ready, like, looks like spears or maybe javelins, and they start to throw it in your and Telemon's general vicinity.
I attempt to interpose my shield between them, myself, and Telemon.
Okay, so what hold are you using?
I'm going to use probably half the incoming attack's damage and redirect it to myself.
Okay, all right. So Fergus like dive rolls in front of you, Telemon, as you're like screaming like, "Don't attack us! We mean no harm!" And Fergus is just like runs in front of you and I think slides a javelin off of the shield and then takes another one. Can you roll d6 plus 3?
And the shield is supposed to be +1 versus projectile. I don't know what the hell's
Yes.
on this.
Thank you for
D6.
reminding me. That's a projectile. d6 plus 3.
Oh.
Okay, so 4, and you have advantage on this stuff, right? For projectiles with your boule shield.
I believe so.
All right. Well,
Yes, advantage is projectiles. Sorry.
Unfortunately, won't matter because you already rolled
Already
the
rolled a
best
1,
on that
yeah.
one. Good for you though. The thing is, it's really hard to talk down the undead. Regan. / Herodeshret. And you take half damage, so you only take 2, and I think that 2 is negated by your armor.
Yep.
So Fergus just like jumps in front and eats a javelin to like the gut, but it just like breaks in half as it shatters against his armor, and he deflects the other 2. Telemon, what do you do? There's approximately a row of
I don't
6...
believe talking is going to help versus these Telemon.
Right.
There's a row of 6 shield guys with swords about like 60 feet, maybe 50 feet in front of you, advancing at a rank and file sort of way. Behind them, there's like a smaller row of throwers, and then behind them, it looks like there's a row, like well behind them, like another like 60 feet waiting, is another row of shield guys, a much larger row, and they seem to be shielding a row of bowmen.
Oh, one wonders what would happen if I chose to do this.
Too bad you don't have Fireball 2.
I would love just to be able to cast Fireball 1 without putting us all in danger at this point.
Yeah. You have a werewolf grenade.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, I put myself in the situation, Tell. Don't feel too horrible. Whatever bad happens.
He would make an ultimate distraction.
You do at least have a sword.
I do. But none of them are in attack range of the sword yet. Pooey.
You can always hide behind Fergus.
He's already hiding behind Fergus right now, but
I use the dirge from the dark side to turn undead. It may not do anything at this range, but I will.
Nice. There you go. A creative solution that doesn't involve direct use of magic. This is what I like to see.
I don't know if it'll work at this range, and I don't think it does anything against archers, but...
Well, it doesn't mean
Let's see.
anything against archers, but the undead. So when read from in the presence of the undead, the reader may turn undead as a cleric can, but instead rolls plus cha. Oh, I need to copy turn undead too. God damn it.
Sorry, acquiring two
I should-
magic items.
I should have put that in the description. I'm not sure why I didn't. I'll copy that over. Give me your cha roll while I'm doing that.
Righto. 13.
That's a success in most categories.
So, now I run away too? Question mark? I'm not sure how that works.
We'll see how it goes, Fergus.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna have to make a check of some sort.
Oh boy.
10 plus, momentarily daze intelligent undead and cause mindless undead to flee.
Yeah. So, Fergus,
Aggression breaks the effects and you're able to exit
behind
the
you, you hear Telemon start to speak words, but as he does, you just hear like a whispering sound start to draw, like from between your ears, like some odd, unearthly form. And you feel like the tether of your soul start to pull, and you didn't even know it was there. I need you to defy danger somehow. Probably with wisdom.
Yeah, I'll attempt to resist the effects of the book, I guess.
Yeah. Give me a wisdom roll. Okay.
10.
All right. You feel yourself standing there stupidly for a moment, and you're able to shrug it off. If he keeps this up, you may have to make another roll for this. But for the moment, you're like, what the hell what was that? Yeah, so this front rank immediately like turns and they begin to flee. I think they actually knock over the javelineers behind them, and you hear like the crunching of bone as one of them just gets trampled. Yeah, the first rank just runs away. As you hold the book up and you read from this Telemon, and you're like chanting, and I think there's this glowing purplish light radiating from you outward. Satal, there's like a chanting going on in the background, and I think it looked like your position was about to be overrun with undead, and all of a sudden they just kind of turned and fled. And like you're picking an arrow out of your side when you look up and you see you see all this going down. What do you do?
They all seem to be going away?
Only the ones nearby.
Okay. Is there... And there's a ton of archers in the background still.
Yeah. You can see them readying another volley.
Is there cover nearby? Trees and so forth?
There is a broken tower out in the water. It looks like it might be chest deep out there. It might give you some limited cover. You are kind of in the middle of a swamp, though.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm not in any range of those archers.
Would give you
right?
cover too, but he's currently
Yeah,
wading
he's probably a
through
little
the
closer.
swamp.
I'll start to tactically redeploy back behind Demas.
Tactically redeploying. All right.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, you start moving back away, peeling arrows out of your scales. Power cord. These two riders have disappeared under the water and have since not reappeared, and you can see the other four have halted. One of them has like raised a hand, and the other one is like pointing towards where Telemon seems to be reading from a book somewhere. You can't really hear it over the sound of your sound or your song, but like he seems to be doing something that is stemmed the tide of this first attack.
Can I like? I can't like make out any of the words he's saying or anything, can
No, I mean like you can stop singing, but this is like a 6-second sort of turn. And the thing is, he's like, even if you could, he's sort of speaking in an like an arcane chant, and he's like he's reading from a book. Like about the lives of the undead, for you who have not been here before.
I? Okay, well, I'm just gonna start shredding on my loot and try to incite violence in the remaining riders.
Incite violence.
Oh god. Riding through a pack of skeletons on a turtle that's shooting lightning while they're beating the crap out of each other and you're shredding on your lute.
All right, so you're again going to try to incite violence. On an 8.
Draws attention.
Yeah. You hear a and one of the rear riders has raised a horn to his helmet and is blowing from it. And you get an ominous feeling.
I don't like that song.
But the I think the nearest riders start I think turning around and backing away, trying to get out of your reach of your song. And I think the skeletons who are fleeing in terror, like a couple of them turn and start tackling each other and just like beating each other to like re-death, like in a crazed madness beneath your maddening song.
As long as they don't stare at me and paralyze me, it's okay.
Yep. Fergus, you are standing in front of Telemon, and he is reading something, and it is not healthy for you, but you're not like paralyzed. The front rank is definitely like in disarray and mostly destroyed thanks to the combined talents of Telemon and Powercord. But
I throw a hunting spear at one of the riders that's backing away from the song.
Okay. Give me a volley.
That's my new thingy. Hunting throw.
I will say I was saying a button there, but as is the case usually, the GM's description of the event is interrupted, and so I will let it be interrupted, and what I was about to describe will simply happen. Yeah, so that looks like it's a partial success. What do you choose?
I choose. I click volley real quick and see what it said. I just reduced my ammo by 1, so I guess it breaks.
Okay. Good luck finding it in a swamp anyway. Yeah, so you reel back with your hunting spear and you give it like a massive chuck. Give me a damage roll. Oh. Yeah, so yeah, it hurls out there, and I think it sticks right into the back of this guy, and he topples off of his horse and into the swamp. Telemon, you're reading from the book, and Fergus, launches this javelin off to the side at one of the riders who's riding up the mountain. And Fergus doesn't notice that the archers have launched another much larger volley. What do you do? It looks like it's heading directly towards both you and Fergus.
I stop reading the book and try to like pull him down, like out of the way of the incoming arrows. Like, tackle him to the ground.
So you're going to try to tackle him to the ground and shield him with your body? Because it's not exactly cover out here in the swamp. Like this is like a line of like 8 or so archers all firing. It's not like you can just pull him out of the way of one arrow. Like it's not just one arrow being fired. It is a volley, like a dedicated volley. Like it is a spray.
Okay, having seen his wonderful shield, I duck down behind him and think, intercept them!
I use my 1 remaining hold to have the incoming damage.
You're no longer standing in defense of this position, but I will let you. You can have your damage. And Telemon's, But Telemon, you're going to have to defy danger with dexterity to hunch down behind the dwarf's shield, and Fergus, you're going to have to make an intelligence check to act quick or to think quickly because
Oh boy.
you are being interrupted in the middle of an action, and I shouldn't even really let you do this because you gave up your chance to defy this danger by interrupting me the first time. This is me being merciful here.
Wow.
Telemon
That's
succeeds.
pass.
I'm waiting for the retribution because my dice is on fire tonight.
That's a success too. Well, partial success. Your choice, Fergus, is you can shield Telemon or yourself.
Should tell him on.
Okay, roll D6 plus 8. Wow.
Wow.
Those max
Wow.
rolls on the archer volleys.
Fortunately.
All right, so you have the damage at least. I'll give you that. You take only 7 damage. As Fergus gets riddled with arrows and just like knocked to the ground in front of you, Telemon.
God.
It's literally just like thump, 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 and all of a sudden, like dwarf just goes thump, like right in front of you, filled with arrows.
3 physical damage.
Yep. Let's see here, Satal. You've made your way behind Demas, and you can hear Demas intaking a deep breath, and you can feel a static charge in the air. What do you do?
Where's Graves? Do I see him around?
Graves? No, you actually can't.
Really interesting.
You lost sight of him at the very beginning.
Odd. I'm going to call out to the others then. We should head for the fort in the swamp. Tower. The tower in the swamp. And that's what I will say and do. And I'll
Okay.
start to head to the other side of
There
Demas
will
to
likely be more
kinda cut-
soon.
cut the distance.
All right, so do you start heading towards the destroyed, sunken tower in the swamp?
I'm just gonna head to the side of Demas that's nearer to that.
Okay, all right.
So I'll still be near Demas. So I'll
Alright.
see what they're gonna do.
Power Cord, you're on top of Demas's head, and I think you're about to do something, and suddenly Demas's whole body shudders, and you feel like an intake of air being drawn into his mouth, and suddenly he roars, and I need you to defy danger, because suddenly like he reels his head back and then hurls it forward, and I need to see if you get hurled from atop his head.
Okay, how do I defy danger?
You can defy danger using one of any of the 6 attributes. You can use strength, dexterity, con, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. You have to tell me how you think you would try to deal with the situation, and you using one of those stats. Like strength would be powering through the situation, con would be enduring the situation, dex would be like moving quickly, intelligence would be thinking quickly, wisdom would be, I think
I'm going to use my
mental
constitution and just kind of brace myself, basically.
Your gut it out of the way.
all right, yeah, so roll your appropriate stat.
Your gut defense check. Go.
All right, so you're trying to maintain your hold here.
Yeah,
that-
I'm just kind of like, grabbing on a little tighter and just preparing myself basically for.
Okay, you
whatever
can
the
grab
hell is gonna
on
come.
to the ridges on top of his head. However, he basically reels down like kind of Godzilla style as he's moving his head. In order to get a full grasp on it, you're gonna have to drop your loot. So this is what happens with a partial success on a Defy Danger. I give you basically an ultimatum, like an ugly choice for you to make. You can basically hold on to your loot and get chucked off the dragon turtle and into the swamp, and whatever that entails, or you can let go of your loot and hold on to the dragon turtle.
I will never let go of the loot.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So, you clutching your loot, you are hurled off the dragon turtle, and like you're careening, head over tail into the swamp, and right before you hit the water, you see this massive bolt of bluish green lightning, like multiple bolts fly from Demas's mouth and blow like maybe half of the rearward line of archers just apart. They suddenly illuminate like green skeletons and then vaporize, and the earth beneath them just like explodes in soil and crater. And bits of metal fragment flies everywhere, and like entirely half of their rear line explodes, like shield men and archers. And Demas roars, and Power Cord goes into the bog.
Well done, Demas.
Telamon, Fergus is like lying arrow riddled right next to you, and you see I think you're looking up like at Demas as he's just released this giant bolt of lightning, and you see that there are only 3 riders now kind of moving back up the hill, and all of a sudden like appearing out of a shadow where he absolutely could not have been, you see Tolston Graves just appear out of nowhere, and then, like, with some sort of velocity, leap onto the guy's horse. And he seems to have, like, a one-handed war axe in his hand, and he comes up onto the back of the guy's horse and, like, decapitates the guy. Like, you see him, like, move his hand back behind the guy's head, and suddenly the guy's helmet goes flying, and you see like a head go flying in the other direction, and then suddenly the guy's body is toppling off of the horse, and he's like riding off into the distance. But as you're looking in that direction, you see a winged creature flying over the mountain as you once again hear this horn bellowing.
Does my axe glow?
Yes.
Oh shit. It be a dragon! We need to get cover quickly.
Is the deck of arcane power charged?
It is.
Is there a range limit upon its effect that I'm aware of?
The deck of arcane power has very few limits. It depends on what you try to do with it.
I want to use its Unleash a Storm of Arcane Bolts function on the incoming flying creature.
You just have to be able to see it.
I wish to do that. I draw out the deck of arcane power.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Oh, it is indeed. Look at that.
Oh god.
All right. So you pull the deck of arcane power out. Deck of arcane power. This is gonna be fun. Once per day, when harnessing the magic contained within the deck of arcane power, choose one. You can tell your fortune or the fortune of another, bestowing +1 forward to a roll of your or their choice. Sometime before the next day, you may cast a random arcane spell effect by drawing a card from the deck to determine which, or you may release the power sealed within the cards themselves, unleashing a storm of arcane bolts equal to 4d20 minus 2, dealing damage equal to the result rolled, split however you choose amongst any number of targets. Mark down your uses per day back down to 0 and roll 4d20 minus 2.
Righto.
Don't roll 4 ones.
Don't say that now.
You don't say that now. Ooh.
36.
That's pretty average.
I want all of it on the flying beast.
Okay. So there's a and like one by one, each of the cards like turns purple and flies out of the deck like faster and faster, and they like morph into a purple arcane bolt and arc towards this this coming thing like a storm of your own arrows. I need to find this thing's stats.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
Is it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Hello? Am I still here?
Yep. All right.
Yep.
36 damage. Wow. Um, there's like a purple confluence of energy, and you hear like a roar in the distance, and this thing like starts tumbling from the sky as one after another these bolts just start striking it, and you see bits of it start to disintegrate, and you see a figure fall from atop this thing, like very far in the distance, and like both the figure and this thing just start to plummet towards the bog, like a couple of miles off into the distance.
Remind me to hug Sarcasmos next time I see him.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter when something has 5 armor if you do 6 damage or 36 damage. Yeah, you just absolutely wrecked whatever the hell that was. There's a massive ka-chunk, and you guys actually feel it through the soles of your feet, and as like there's this huge splash far off in the moors as this dragon thing crashes into the water.
Is the axe still glowing?
I think it starts to go dim.
Well done,
like it
Telemon.
starts to become faint. It's not like a immediate wink out though.
I think you got him.
Yeah, reinforcements down.
You can see that there's like a scattering remnants of the forces that ambushed you before, and there's still I think 2 riders. And right now Tolston has like a crossbow out, and he's like firing at one of them, but the 2 riders are retreating back up towards the fort, the small fort up on top of the ridge. And they're definitely in full flight, and Tolston like pulls to a stop, and the other undead are disappearing now into the swamps.
Well, I think we scared them off for now. They'll be back. We should move quickly.
I bandaged my minor wound. Because why not?
I think Powercord emerges with a big gasp from the bog, like loot over his shoulder, and he just starts walking out, and there's water pouring out of the loot, and I think there's probably a few frogs. And eventually Tolston rides up on what is very clearly some sort of undead horse, and he just like pats it on the side, and he's like, there, and he's like, wow. That was an amazing feat. As he looks to Telemon, who's currently not present.
The axe
What is-
says he dealt that Possibly dragon or dragonkin a good blow.
What is that tower in the bog over there, Tulston?
I told you that my father said he,
I'm back.
as a boy, he thought he saw a series of towers. He was convinced that they led to along a path to another entrance to the Hunter's Keep.
We should probably investigate and find such path.
He points back up towards like the forgotten like garrison up on top of the ridge. He's like, I have no idea what that is, but I recommend we stay away.
Yeah. I like to have a look around with the falcon, see if I can find this path he speaks of.
Yeah. So give me your search roll.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll int because it's gonna be +3, but it's not actually gonna be int. 9.
You are able to find in the distance another tower. It's at least standing upright, although it's not really intact too much. But you can see it. It looks like it's leading in the general direction of that river he was talking about on the far end of the bog.
Seems to be a tower, an upright tower in that direction. Quite a distance off, but that might be what it was his father, right? His father spoke of.
Yeah. Well, perhaps we know the way then.
I will go to the front now since I have a burning hand, and I will be kind of in the lead with the fire through the bog. I'll hopefully cut through some of the bog gas or fog.
As I make my way back towards the group, I'm going to say, "Haha! A glorious battle, worthy of a song." I'm going to look over at Fergus and say, "I did not know such a tiny man could contain so many arrows."
Yeah, like
I've had
there's,
much
there's
worse.
like 7 of them still sticking from various parts of his
And
body.
I'm going to sing a completely non-sarcastic song about Fergus's ability to take a liquid and keep on ticking and heal him for a little bit of damage, hopefully.
All right. Give me an arcane
God.
arts roll.
This is when we
I
all
will say-
cringe.
I will say it's a really good thing you guys killed that thing, because that was the thing that got the 2d4 damage roll from before.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's what I figured. Since the other two things didn't have it.
Oh,
That or-
power,
that or I thought it
power
was the
chord
enti-
gives me an in here.
Oh no.
Yes, see, that I thought that was the unwanted attention too.
Oh
So.
god, I healed the dragon.
No, that's not the only thing you can
No.
do.
It might be the worst thing you do though.
Yes.
So roll your healing for Fergus.
Boo.
Okay. All right. So we'll end today's session with you guys stomping out of the bog and making your way towards the second tower, where ostensibly there's some sort of trail leading along. Like you're supposed to maybe follow the river to another tower. Yeah, you're making your way out of the bog, and we'll leave off here with a very disgruntled were-caterpillar bouncing about in a glass jar, and it's a good thing that Telemon didn't fall over at any point in this episode. I think the last thing we see before we tally XP is Fergus, walking beside everybody. Not all of his wounds, he like bleeding like a normal person would, and he's got his axe over his back, and you see it start to glow just a little bit dimly before we end the session.
Oh god.
Uh-oh. Dragons.
But nobody notices it.
Mm.
Camera does though. Bum bum bum.
As a side note, Jace, this was the most common occurrence whenever Reclus's previous character attempted to heal us with
Yep.
a song.
He was ostensibly he had a cursed lute, is what we determined.
Fiddle.
Yeah, fiddle.
He sometimes healed the enemies more than he healed us for.
And
Sometimes.
drew a lot of attention too. Of course, one time it was pretty decent attention with the griffin.
That's true.
All right, quick question: does the 3 healing I just took damage me?
Not necessarily.
Just asking.
It heals you for now.
No.
It's adding up.
Until you hit
On the
26,
third-
and then you just kill it.
On the
Oh.
third moon, you will explode, but
Fergus is
well, the
undead.
build-up.
Add a charge counter.
Yes, I'm undead. Is it just that?
I
That's
did not
my-
Something
actually.
happened recently.
Yeah, Fergus died, and he didn't really tell anybody, and nobody really asked any questions, and Fergus doesn't really know, but Fergus is partially dead.
I tried to notice
That's
at one
why
time.
when he rolled against undead, I was like, "So I run away now, right?" Question mark.
It's his beard that's hiding that big, huge, open gash in his neck
Yep.
from when he died.
Yep.
Oh my! I must say though, Star, the deck of arcane power is the best thing ever.
Not everybody knows what that can do, but I wanna let everybody draw from it once at the end of the session, just to let everybody know what it can do. I let Cloud and Foster do that just to hint, because people should know what it can do, and it
It
took me a full day to figure it out.
But if an incoming dragon, I don't. With everything else,
it's pretty crazy. We'll do that after XP. So, Haru Deshret, did you deny mercy to a criminal or unbeliever?
Pretty much the opposite, sadly.
Yep, you keep doing that.
Orson has this bad habit of making a character and then doing the exact opposite of
It
what his
doesn't matter.
character
He
should
gets so
do.
much experience when
Yeah.
he fails. He doesn't need it.
It is a thing. Fergus's misguided behavior endangers the very soul. He is a drunkard. That really hasn't come up a whole lot yet. It will come up eventually, though. Probably on the airship, when it's probably not a great place to come up.
I'm just waiting for Settlazar and Fergus, and of course our new power cord to get into one of those,
Do you feel
carouse
like-
roles.
Do you feel like any of your bonds have made any progress?
Not really this time around. I spent
Okay.
a lot of the time in the jar, so.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You did. I will give you major kudos for curing ancient Krios of his werewolf curse.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's what I
It
figured.
didn't occur to me that might be Krios until like about maybe 5 or 10 minutes after, and I was like, wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense actually.
I've been trying really hard to give a lot of references for the present campaign. Telemon, did you discover something about a magical mystery?
This is a pretty magical place we're going to with this old moon path and stuff.
What did you discover about it?
Well, that's true. I don't think I was. We're traveling on it. We haven't
Walking
actually learned
into
whole
a
lot.
door could be discovering it, but then again,
Yep. So
I
probably
don't-
not. We haven't.
okay.
We made progress towards something we learned last session per se, but
How about your bonds?
but I have fun. Well, I put a thing about heating Hero's console more, but he wanted me to kill him, so it's like, yeah.
How about the thing with Fergus? He's protected you quite a bit, and it doesn't
is
seem
true.
like he has not been inhibited by his ale and his mead.
True, I have not seen him drink much ale in a hindering fashion.
It's only really ever happened the one time, and you weren't really there for it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's kind of being moved on?
Yeah, Fergus has been very helpful to me so far. Aid my.
How do you feel about this, Fergus?
I protected his ass several times. And
Yeah,
yet-
you're a veritable pincushion right now. I would say you could.
If I
mark
knew
that as
about his
completely-
undeath, I'd be like, perhaps I owe him a chance at life again. But I don't know about that, so yeah.
Well,
Perhaps
we'll
I
have
owe
to
him,
see.
We'll have to see. But I will blank that one. And I will write a new one about Fergus, probably pertaining to a dead or something.
Or you could write one with power cord. Who knows?
Or I could, yes.
Fergus, did you defeat a worthy opponent today?
Well, I didn't really kill anybody. I don't think we defeated some skeletons.
I was
but I'm
like,
sure...
there's a dragon. He has a dragon slaying axe, and then Telemon just one shots it with the deck.
yeah, it was a
Magic
little bit like, I
gathering.
don't know.
We couldn't afford it.
So no.
Well, I mean, like, we say that now, but when the thing does 2d12 plus 5 with 4 piercing, it could have been a one-shot on one of the friendly characters. So, I mean, in hindsight, when you can kill it before it kills you...
Yeah.
2d12 or advantage d12?
It's best of 2d12.
Yeah. Okay, wow.
I could have used my choppy choppy ability that I didn't use.
It may or may not do 2d12 with elemental damage. Who knows? So...
Having such a long body is strange, and all of a sudden leaves taste good.
how do your bonds feel there, Fergus?
Let's see, bonds. Haven't done much progress on helping Hero District repay his debt, I don't think. I made up a new one. Power Code has sung my praises. Let's hope it continues.
I like that.
Telemon just one-shotted the dragon, so I don't know. He might do. He might.
You know,
decent
you've
in a
had that
dungeon.
one.
I don't
You've
know.
had that one for quite a while. And Telemon has like gotten into some trouble, but he's also like blown shit up. That's up to you.
And survived.
You haven't seen him spontaneously combust before, so
He
It's true. I
survived
don't know.
the Baron. He survived
I haven't seen him
the
in a
dragon.
dungeon yet, so to speak.
True, yeah, but
yeah. How do you feel that this one's finished,
It's
or do
making,
you want to
it's
see
making
more?
progress. So I'll wait
Okay.
one more. See what happens.
All right. How about the one with Satal?
I didn't see him light anything on fire today.
Yeah. All right. It seems like you're like a hair's breadth away from that one being cemented, though.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. How about you,
I
Satal?
just put that one there, I think. Well, 2 seconds.
Wasn't that a couple sessions ago? Things have happened.
I'm kind of thinking for alignment, start to head towards evil. If I haven't done so enough yet.
You definitely can if you want.
Okay, so for next session it'll be on evil.
You can change it right now. I suggested it last time if you wanted to change because you've been having a very hard time with that one. How about your bonds?
The only one I think I did the most on was once again Fergus used his ring to turn away those undead. That impressed me quite a bit. So wasn't using his blade. Then that took some intellect instead of the brawn only. So that's 3 times in a row.
I think that might be enough. How about you, Fergus?
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty.
I also
Put that one.
threw a javelin instead of using my blade today. And defended.
Didn't even see
So today was actually ring, shield, and javelin more than blade. But
Yep.
Power Chord. Did you spur others to significant and unplanned decisive action?
I think taking out the first couple of those riders might count.
Yep. I think you said something about what was that command you said at the very beginning of the battle? As you were riding in, there was something that you like shouted to the rest of the group.
Oh god, yeah, what did I say?
It doesn't really matter. It's like you were the one that rode off into battle to begin with. So like whether or not they were trying to think of something else, you were like, let's get it on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and giving me the plus 2d4 to my
Yeah,
attack
like that really
spurred me on.
encouraged him to just go ahead and do it. So you can get an experience for that.
Even though I got blasted by arrows, but
Yeah.
I was thinking about for bonds. I think maybe put Satal in for singing stories of someone long before I ever met in person. I think maybe
Did you hear
During their-
about how he
during their
burned down a
advent-
city or something?
Yeah, I probably, I might, given I was in kind of in the area, there's a good chance I may have seen firsthand the results of his
Is
fire spells.
Is that something that might have happened at all?
yeah, there might have been a village, a town or two that I might have burned down on my way from Called to
Like
to Arnhem.
Maybe you had a disagreement in a pub or something, and it got a little out of hand, and somebody threw a knife, and you burned down their village.
Yeah, probably why I had to move all the way to Arnhem from
From the
Called.
map, I've kind of gotten the impression there's been a lot of fire.
Yeah. He burned down their cart, which had 3 chests full of gold containing literally
Treasures. Big
yeah,
treasures.
like we couldn't. It was so much gold we couldn't really say a number. It was just it was a unit in and of itself, a chest full of gold. There was a lot of burning.
We had just purchased that cart like 30 minutes before too.
He
Oh,
burned
poor
down the entire
Binky.
castle of Arnhen. The 4th chest on that
He
Mickey,
lit
cart.
the-
Mickey might not be dead. He ran off
He
somewhere. but-
lit the horse on fire, and Fergus Binky is lost.
Yes.
That's still one of my most favorite lines of the campaign.
Oh, then
The gold
Fergus
is melted, Binky is lost.
flaws.